Hey guys. Hi. Hi. Oh my God. We're kind of late. 10 minutes late. Um, I don't even know where to start from. But first of all, sincerest apologies for starting late, guys. I don't know if you can tell, background is different. It means there's something different going on. But I'm just going to wait for a bit for more of us to join this live stream, and then we're going to officially start this conversation. All right. But for now, I'm just going to kind of wait. Okay. Um, I think I should play some music. I don't know how you guys. Oh, okay, people are here now. Okay, so let me just play just music. Let me play music for just a few minutes, just like 1 minute or 2 minutes. There's this particular song that I really love, and I think it's going to properly fit into the vibe of today's conversation. So, guys, just hold on a second. Let's play it. Nice. Okay. Hope you guys are ready for today's conversation because today's conversation is going to be a blast. So just just chill, just vibe to the music, and then I'll tell you what's up. I'll tell you what's up. Guys, today's conversation is a chill one, but it's going to be intense a bit, alright? So just chill 1st. Come on. Let me increase the volume a bit. Hey, hey. Okay. Come on. Let me see you put that on there first. Oh, nice. I can see I've been bola balloon. Voice. That. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Hey, you guys really care. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna start now. Hey, hey. Okay, DJ Glory has done her part. Now we're about to start. Hi, how are you all doing? You are all specially welcome to today's YouTube live stream. You already know my name is Glory Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Glory Elijah, and I am the girl with the tea. Today, I am the girl with water. All right. Now, I know that a lot of you are wondering what's going on with her background. Something looks different. Yes, guys, I am currently on vacation. Yes. I'm gradually turning Dora the Explorer or Glory the Explorer. Yes. So, for those of you that are Gambians, guess what? I am in your country. Yes, I'm actually in Gambia currently, and I didn't really put out a lot of videos this week because I was preparing for this particular trip. So this is just my own way of going out there, unwinding, resting. Guys, it's been hectic. The past 3 months or 4 months has been really, really hectic. Okay, so this is me taking a breather, taking a break. And yes, so if you're a Gambian and you are a viewer on this channel, you are a subscriber here. I want to tell you this, your country has one of the most cleanest water I have ever experienced in my entire life. I haven't really traveled a lot, but oh my God, I've been telling my friend that, listen, I'm going to pack water when I'm going back home to Nigeria because people's water is so clean and it's not even treated water. We're talking about natural water that is so freaking clean. Hey, I've been seeing the way my skin has been glowing, and I've not even been here for up to 24 hours yet. Yes. So you guys have like one of the most cleanest untreated water, and that is huge. That is huge. Yes, I am loving it. The environment is amazing. By the time I leave here, I'm going to create a very, very long vlog. Yes. And that video is not going to be on this channel. I told you guys that I was going to create a new channel, right? So that video is going to be on the new channel because I don't want to mix up my content. There are other plans I have for the new channel. So when that video is up, I will let you all know. I will announce, yes. Yes. I mean, but as then you are following your promises, vacation goals. Yes, so guys, and the story behind particular vacation is so interesting. I cannot wait to share. I've been documenting my stay here the past few hours. I arrived here. So when that video comes out, you guys prepare yourselves for an over 1 hour long vlog because that vlog is going to be long. Yes. Anyways, we're not talking about my vacation today. Happy Endings is asking, okay, not a question actually. There's no part two of Acrimony, all right, but let's quickly get into the gist of today. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about Acrimony, Tyler Perry's Acrimony. Now, I decided that, okay, let's have this conversation because the first time I watched the movie, I think that was in 2018. I had started my blog. Yes, I had a website, a blog. So I analyzed it, in text. And I felt like a lot of people did not really read what I wrote. But then back then, I was kind of like 5 years younger than I am now. So there were a lot of things that I really did not really see about the movie that now that I have watched it again over and over and over again, I'm now seeing those things and it's getting me madder. The first time I watched it, I was really mad. I lost my mind. I was so angry. I'm like, what the hell? What kind of movie is this? Like, the movie was really angry. I was upset at Tyler Perry. I was upset at everybody. I was upset at everybody. Yes. So I watched it again earlier this week, and oh my God, there were things I realized that I saw. It felt, and you see, this is the trick. Every time I watch the movie, it's like I'm watching it for the first time. It's like things I did not see before, I'm seeing them all over again. So it's getting me in my feelings. It's getting me really mad. And it's making me wonder, like, okay, fine. I know that Tyler Perry is a genius producer, is a genius scriptwriter, is a genius filmmaker, is a genius everything. That man is an all-rounder, all in one. He's a genius everything. But then I put on Twitter that what exactly did Tyler Perry drink before creating the movie Acrimony? Because that movie has a truckload of life lessons in it. That movie is loaded with so many things. That movie deserves to be a series. Yes. I felt like Tyler Perry kind of gaslighted us with such a fantastic creation and then it disappeared. It's like the movie did not have an end. That end that we saw, Melinda getting drowned, guys, that was not the end of the movie. I beg to differ. That was not the end of the movie. I feel like Tyler Perry should have given us more, like sequels to the movie. Yes. Anyways, we're not talking about the sequels of the movie. Let's get into the details. We're going to analyze it. I will share with you all what I think about the movie because the question to today that nobody has been able to answer about the movie Acrimony is who is to blame between Melinda, between Robert, between in fact between both of them first of all as the main characters of the movie. Who is to blame? No matter how you argue this argument from today to tomorrow, you will still find yourself coming back to the middle because it's like these two people, they caused their own downfall individually and as a pair, as a couple. So there's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of life's lessons to get from this movie. And that's what we're going to be discussing today on this live stream, all right? So once again, you are all specially welcome to today's conversation. I want to remind you all that here is an open space, for you to freely express yourself. So do not hold back, all right? Do not hold back and feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. And also when I share the link to this conversation, all right, feel free to click on it and come join us in the conversation, all right? Guys, apologies that I keep on touching my hair. I don't know what to do, all right? I did not even install this wig. I just put it on my head. So it's all over my face, it's in my eyes. So please bear with my touchy. All right. Anyways, let's start. We already, I don't know if any of you here have actually seen the movie. Yeah. I don't know if you've watched it. But just for a recap, what's the plot? Plot is about two people that found each other at a very young age. I think they were like 17 or 18. But then sadly, young Melinda lost her mom just a few days later. And then Robert was there to console her. But then his own way of consoling this young girl was both of them having sex on the day of the mother's funeral. Now, when I first watched that part, I wanted to be mad at the guy. But then another thought occurred to me. Now, okay, fine, let me not blame this guy too much, right? The fact that he's a man does not mean that he should be the most responsible person in that friendship that they had at that point in time, right? So let me give him the benefit of doubt that, okay, fine, he did not know better. Normally, a girl who just lost the mom the day of the funeral, one would expect the guy to console the girl. But then I had to take into consideration the age range, right, that they shared. Those people were actually very young. So them shagging on that very day, the girl losing her virginity to Robert, it did not really make sense. But then that is kind of expected of young people who do not really have their thinking caps on, right? So I could not really blame him. Now, a lot of people argued that, oh, the guy actually took advantage of the girl on that very first day. Oh, a poor girl. Even Melinda herself, whilst narrating the story, right, she said the same thing that, oh, how could he have taken advantage of her like that? Knowing fully well that she was mourning her mom. That was the day of the mother's funeral. I'm like, well, if Robert or whatever his name is, if Robert could not be the brain in the relationship at that point in time, what about you? Didn't you have the sense to respect your mom? At least your mom was not even cold in the ground, and you were so generous, to this young man to open your legs and lose your virginity to him on that very same day. So for me, another thing I saw was that that day was also very, very significant in Melinda's life. It felt like the death of her mom, right? And the burial of her mom that very first day and that very day kind of symbolized the death of Melinda's life, the death of Melinda's progress as a young woman, the death of Melinda's um, growing up years. Because if we think about it, Melinda did not really grow up in that movie. Her life in that movie was sort of like a stunted growth. She did not really grow in that movie. There was no elevation. It was all redundancy. It was all stagnation. Yes. So her mother's death at that point in time and her mother's burial was a very, very huge sign in that movie. But sadly, Melinda did not really see it. Yes. And another thing we should also take into consideration is that Melinda was very, very hot headed as a young girl, very, very hot-headed, very, very hot-tempered, very, very hot-tempered. Yes, her temperament cost her her womb. Yes, it cost her her womb. So it was very, very crazy. Now, for someone like Melinda that did not grow up with a father figure, right? But also only grew up with her sisters and her mother. Another thing we could also see from the storyline is that Melinda was desperately in need of a father figure in her life. She had what they called daddy issues. Yes. Someone that would be telling her what to do, what to do, what to do. A male figure that would be telling her what to do. A male figure that would give her direction in life. But then sadly, she met a young man who only gave her instructions towards the direction of his own life, towards accomplishing his own mission in life, towards achieving his own dreams. And then sadly, all of those instructions dragged for over, I think, 10 years of their lives together. Now, yes, I agree with those people that also say that Robert actually used Melinda. I think he actually did a great deal. Now, did he consciously use her? Did he deliberately use her? Quite frankly, I don't think it was actually premeditated. I don't think he actually deliberately, like used that. I think Robert himself was so caught up, you know, in his own dreams, in the picture he had for his life, that even when he kept on demanding and demanding and demanding from Melinda to sacrifice. Oh, when the mom died, the mom left, I think, over $300,000 for her to go to school, get some education, set up her life, and even left the family mansion for her. The guy kept on demanding and demanding and demanding until everything was finished. Yes. So this girl literally used all what the mom kept for her. Let me say, her inheritance from the mother. She spent it all training this young man in school, helping him achieve what he wanted to achieve, sacrificing everything. Guys, when we say everything, everything, to the point of even working multiple jobs for this young man to become who he wants to become. Now, let me not jump too much. Still on the plot, Melinda met this young man right at the same period of time. She lost her mom, has two sisters. Sisters already had people that they were dating, and then eventually sisters got married, and then young Robert started demanding. Now, it wasn't demanding, and here's the thing: this guy is very, very how do they call it now? He's very, very sleek, right? He does not outrightly ask Melinda to give him things. Instead, he will complain. Oh my God, I wish I had this thing. I wish I had that thing. For those of you who are psychologists, for those of you who are therapists, I'm sure you have a name for this, when people don't outrightly ask you for things, when people don't outrightly demand for things from you, they just put the idea in your head. And then automatically you begin to have this savior syndrome, right? This hero syndrome, like, oh my God, I actually like this person. And because this person is looking so pitiful and miserable because they lack this thing, I can actually provide this thing for this person. So, you just go ahead and then you begin to provide and provide and provide. Now, automatically, Melinda became the provider in their relationship as young as she was. She became the provider. This guy literally used Melinda as a crutch from their, is it teenage years to adult years, all in the name of a dream. Now, one thing I must give to Robert in this whole movie is that the guy is a very, very good salesman. He properly and, glamorously sold his dreams to Melinda. Melinda bought everything hook, line, and sinker. She did not leave like any crumbs left. She ate everything this guy sold to her at the initial stage, of course. And that was what kept her going. The dream of a better life, the dream of becoming billionaires, the dream of living that big Black American, future in America, great America. But I don't know how many of you also noticed that for Melinda, it wasn't really about the dream at the end of the day. I think it was about having that father figure, that person that is just going to be that male figure that's just going to be in her life, that's going to exist in her life and continuously give her validation that she's wanted. I personally feel that the absence of a father figure in her life and the absence of her mother at a later stage greatly influenced most of the decisions that she made. Aside the fact that Melinda was kind of very, very naive in the movie, I just felt like she was also very, very naive. And so young Melinda spent all the money that the mother left for her to get an education and to set up her life into sending Robert to school. Now, the point where she actually lost her womb was this young man gave some very, very flimsy excuse as to why he needed a car. And this stupid girl went ahead to go and buy the car for this guy. Few days later, after securing a car, which was actually one of those flashy cars back in the day, right? This guy stopped calling her, stopped, picking her calls, only for her to go to the trailer where he was living, and then she caught him red-handed shagging another girl. Now, at that point in time, her rage got the best of her. Her rage consumed her, And then she made the very, very stupid and daft decision of trying to kill herself and the guy and the girl that he was shagging by driving straight into the trailer. Now she had internal bleeding, and the impact of that caused her to lose her womb. Now, guys, people also argued that, oh, if Robert did not like Melinda, he would not have married her at that point in time. Do I agree with that? No, I don't actually think he actually really genuinely loved Melinda enough to marry her at that point in time. I feel like his guilt actually ate deep into him. So it was guilt that made him propose to her, and ended up marrying her, because this guy must have thought about it that, oh my God, I came into this girl's life. I took her virginity on the day of her mother's burial. Yes. And she's been giving me money here and there. And then she's also bought me a car. And also, I feel like he probably was strategic about his decision. He probably thought about it that, this girl still has money, because this stupid girl actually told the guy the exact amount that the mom left for her. Also told this guy about the house that it's built to her. So this guy, aside the guilt, there was also the other part that, okay, fine, there's nothing to lose. I have no family. I have nobody that's going to sponsor my dreams, right? So if I choose to marry this girl and stay with this girl, then definitely she's going to, want to sacrifice more for this relationship. And so he proposed to her. Stupid girl agreed without listening to the advice of her sisters. Now, her sisters, those ones, they had a very, very stupid role to play as well. Guys, I'm sorry I keep on referring to these people as stupid, because the movie was just so annoying. Rich, but also very, very annoying. Now, they get married, and this girl was literally spending money, spending money, spending money. The one scene that really pissed me off was when this guy was working on his battery, and boom, the thing exploded, and it literally cut off the electricity of the entire mansion. And the only thing this mother effer could say was, sorry. I'm like, what? Guys, it was, oh my God. Carbo said Melinda had savior syndrome. Exactly. Said the same thing earlier. Exactly. She had that savior syndrome, that hero syndrome. Oh my God, this guy is pitiful. Nobody is going to help him. I have the money, I have the means, I'm going to help him. And that was exactly how she roped herself into that stupid situation. And then she spent over $30,000 to reconnect the household's electricity. Now, another part, see, guys, a lot of parts really pissed me off about this movie, but another part that really pissed me off was that this girl was working over 4 jobs after they had finished exhausting the money the mother kept for her. This girl was working over 4 jobs, right? And then, young man who the money is being spent on did not have the sense to say, okay, well, fine, I'm chasing my dreams. The money is finished. Let me also look for a stable job so that I can also be contributing to the home. Because, guys, I cannot believe that for over 10 years, these people were together as a couple. From morning till night, Robert will be inside the house working on the batteries. Hell no. At least he knows his way to the kitchen. Maybe he will go and look for food. He will eat food. Oh, when he wants to shag, he will shag. There's free pussy over there. He will shag. Like, guys, even thinking about all these things on a more realistic level was just really getting me really pissed. So the fact that this guy did not deem it fit to work extra hard for the dream that he had, guys, that pissed me off big time. It was really annoying. And another thing that also pissed me off is that Melinda is also suffering from something. I don't know if there's anything such as silence syndrome, but yes, silence syndrome, I think it's officially a disease. Melinda created it because all of these things were eating her up, and she was not expressing herself. She was not venting. She was not saying anything. She was swallowing up all the anger. She was sitting with rage. Yes. And you know something about what they say about people that always swallow up their rage. The day they will explode, it would be like a volcanic eruption. Yeah, it happened before, but then she did not learn a lesson. And you see, that first car accident she had, that she lost her womb, that was also significant in the movie. Yes. I think Tyler Perry looked for a fantastic way to show us the danger of rage, of not being able to control one's anger. I think that was very, very symbolic in the movie, telling us that this Melinda that we are seeing, the kind of anger issues she has, right? It is the type that she does not mind losing her life in the process if push comes to shove. So that first move where she caught Robert cheating on her, she was ready to lose it all. She was ready to die. So she lost her womb. She was not deterred. For her, she got the man. Diane did not get the man. Same thing we saw in the end. For her, it's either she dies, Robert dies, and Diane also dies, as long as nobody gets Robert at the end of the day. So those were very, very, very powerful scenes in the movie for me. But still on the plot, these two people grew apart. Yeah. I mean, they were no longer touching each other. The guy lost interest in touching her. She also was not talking about it. And you see, that's another lesson in relationships. Talk about it. She was not having conversations with the guy. So neither of both of them knew how they truly felt about each other and about the situation. Now, Robert, on the other hand, I still don't want to blame him, or see him as the bigger person in the relationship because, yeah, I mean, the fact that he's the male in the relationship does not mean he has the most sense. Melinda, too, should also have sense in that relationship. But both of them did not have conversations. And then Diane comes into the picture much later. Now, guys, I don't know how many of you saw the role that Diane, is it Diana or Diane? Let me see. Diana. I don't know how many of you saw the role that Diana played in the whole thing. But Diana was just a huge, like she was just a big opportunist. She saw an opportunity, she saw a loophole in these two people's relationship, and she capitalized on it. At the end of the day, she ended up reaping where she did not sow. The first time, Robert in his adult years took that battery to the Prescott, is it Prescott or Preston's firm? Did you guys see how that girl manipulated the whole thing? Now, she did it out of vengeance, like, oh, you picked Melinda over me, so I'm going to make sure I kill your dreams. And that was where they gave him a restricting order, right? Not to come close to the company building anymore. But then she went ahead, took her time, watched the videos that Robert created of himself and his wife, Melinda. And then she realized that, wow, these two people are actually living a happy life. And then she also remembered that, okay, this Melinda in person, this girl has anger issues and she's ready to lose her life for this man. So maybe if I trigger her more, maybe I'm going to end up getting this guy. So what did she do? She started coming close, started helping the guy to get access back into the firm, into the company. Now you see that purse that she left in the truck that Robert was supposed to go deliver things to a client. By the way, for those of you that have watched the movie, I'm just deliberately skipping out some parts that I feel like are not really necessary to narrate all over again. But that wallet that she left in that truck, I feel strongly that she deliberately left it there. She deliberately left it there because she wanted to give Melinda a sign that, hey, your man is cheating on you, your man is still with me. And it worked. Melinda has no emotional intelligence at all. Guys, it was evident right from the get-go. She has no emotional intelligence, very, very ignorant, very, very naive to a fault. Very, very naive. At the end of the day, everything worked out against her. Now, let me quickly fast forward to the part of the movie that really got me mad. Robert, the way he materialized his dreams, the way he brought his dreams into reality. See, after watching this movie over 10 times, it just made me realize that, oh my God, the dreams that this guy had been selling to Melinda, it was not actually both their dreams. It was actually Robert's dreams, his own dreams alone How did I figure that out? Because if truly he loved Melinda, if truly he respected Melinda, if truly he was not a selfish asshole, if truly he was not a selfish, greedy idiot, after marrying, or rather, okay, yeah, after marrying, even before and after getting together with Diana, he would not have, you know, taken her to the same designer that was supposed to design Melinda's wedding dress. Guys, everything this guy told Melinda he was going to do for her, that was exactly what he did for Diana. Guys, when you talk about the height of disrespect, the height of selfishness, oh my God, that was it for me from that movie. That was it. The yacht that he promised Melinda that, oh, when we get money, when we become rich, we're going to put it in this name. That was the same name. Guys, everything. The same penthouse, everything, the same wedding ring, guys, everything that he was supposed to give to Melinda, that was the same thing he gave to Diana. I almost died. I mean, guys, I've seen this movie over 10 times, but every time I watch it and I realize a lot of things, I keep on losing my mind. At this point, it's like my sanity is remaining at 0.00%. That was wild. That was wild. I remember the first time I watched this movie and I had a serious conversation about it with my partner. And he was telling me, no, no, no. And the guy didn't really do a lot of things wrong, right? Like, oh, what do you expect? The girl's sisters disgraced him. The girl disrespected him in front of her family, the sister's husbands as well. The girl insulted him. She rained abuses on his man ego, said a lot of things. I said, yes, I know. I know, and there's no excuse for any of those things that Melinda did or said to Robert. But then, at least, even though he settled her by getting back the mother's mansion, because he actually lost the mansion, yes. Even though he got the mansion back for her, even though he settled her and paid her off with, is it $10 million? Was that enough reason for him to literally like this guy was just petty? Like, was that enough reason for him to give everything he had initially planned for Melinda to Diana, the same woman that he had cheated on her with, the same woman that was the reason that she had gotten into that fit of rage and had lost her womb? Guys, this movie is wild. This movie is wild. I don't want to talk too much because I want us to have a very, very engaging conversation about this movie, all right? I didn't really spell out every single thing, but I just thought I should just give you guys a summary of some of the things that really pissed me off. Oh, before I even move on to sharing the link, Melinda's sisters are the type of sisters that nobody should listen to sometimes. I mean, not 100% of the time, but sometimes, yes. The sisters, I feel like they really got into her head to the point that because of how air-headed this girl was, she literally was listening to everything the sisters were saying. The times when she's supposed to take their advice, she wasn't really taking their advice. Then the time when she wasn't supposed to take their advice, she took it hook, line, and sinker. And then of the day, when this guy hit it big, she regretted everything. Here's the reason people are still confused till today. Even me, myself, I'm still very confused that who do I blame? Who is to blame? Guys, that's the question of today's live stream. Who is to blame? Who is to blame? Franklin is saying, Glory, at that point, Robert owes Melinda nothing. I would love to know which point you're referring to. So quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and share the link to this live stream in the comment section below. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from everybody. Where do you stand? Who do you blame? Do you blame everybody? Do you blame Melinda? Do you blame Robert? Do you blame the sisters? Who do you blame, guys? Let's have this conversation. All right. And please also feel free to share some life lessons that you learned from the movie, because that movie is loaded with a lot of life lessons. So please go ahead and share. And yeah, relationship advice or maybe some tips about relationships that you have learned. I have actually learned a lot, but I don't want to just go ahead and list it out. Let's have conversations, all right, about it. So please go ahead, click on the link that I am sharing in the comment section, and let's discuss. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Safas Oge said, I blame myself for watching the movie. It got you really pissed, right? Same here. Okay, so let me read your comment whilst we're waiting for those of us that want to join and discuss. Oluwase said, I blame both of them. My dear, me too. In fact, I blame everybody. I also blame Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry just really pissed me off. At this point, I'm looking forward to a part two of the movie. I really need a part two of the movie. Comfy Dress said, I blame everybody, including the writer and producer, for confusing me. Oh my God. Yes, I agree with you. Abimbola said, I feel that rage issues would have been dealt with somehow in the course of their relationship. I feel Robert should have done better on that part if he really loved Melinda. Exactly. I totally agree with you. Abimbola said, if that rage was not dealt with, it would come up destroying everything on the long run, though it was not about any other woman. Yes, it wasn't about any other woman. Yes, yes, yes. Or could it be possible that Robert just wanted to take vengeance, like, get back at Melinda for the way she disgracefully divorced him? What do you guys think? Okay, so we have Fortune here. Hi.
Hi, Chloe, and hi, everybody.
Hi, Fortune. You are especially welcome. How are you, Fortune?
I'm fine, thanks. And yourself?
I'm good. Thank you.
You're probably better
Fortune.
than me. You're on holiday, and yeah, it must be fun.
Thank you. Thank you. So, what are your thoughts about the movie, Fortune?
So I actually went and I watched it back again yesterday when you said you were
Hmm.
going to talk about it. So, and I got really angry again. I was just so upset because I blame more the writers because really they messed up my head with this movie,
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
watched it last when it came out years ago, and I went out, I watched it again yesterday. I was just like, oh, this is just all over the place. So I think I don't wanna, blame one person. Like I said in the comment section, I think they are both to blame at different parts in the movie. But if I had to put an overall blame, I would say Robert. And it's not just because I'm a girl. I feel that really after everything that happened, this very good guy, persona that Robert wanted to show, he could have
Mm,
just sealed the deal by coming back to this wife that he's saying, oh, I love her so much. You can't come to
mm,
my office after all of these things that you've done with flowers and throw the L word, and you still go to
mm,
somebody else's house and marry that person. If the love is done, even if you love me as a friend, please don't say it, you know, don't say that. So, overall, really, I'll just give a summary of some of the things that I learned from this movie. And to answer some of the things that you said, where I feel like maybe I don't somehow agree with you, the
mm,
part that you were saying everything that Robert did for Diane is stuff that he had promised to do to for Melinda. What I think is that sometimes you meet a guy who's not very exposed and you become their exposure, right? Everything that
mm,
they know outside is because you are telling them this exists. Oh, we need to do this and we need to do that. Robert was cooped up in the house most of the time. Melinda was a
mm,
little bit more exposed. So she knew the stuff that's nice. She knew everything that's good, everything that she wanted. She sold this dream of, okay, if we do have money, this is what I would want, right? And
mhm,
I suspect that that became the standard of loving to Robert. And when he finally got the money, he did all these things, but he just did it for the wrong girl. He should have
as
just,
his expression of love, right?
as an expression of love, he did it for Diane, right? And
Mm,
I have a bone to pick with Diane. Honestly, how that check changed from 800K to 75 million, she never would have done that if this guy was not divorced. For me, that is the core of this story. How this girl was the girl from the van back in the years, and now she's back, and all of a sudden this guy is rich. I just think that she never would have fought so hard if she was not sharing the bed with the guy. So she definitely played this card that you said she saw that there was a weakness. She remembered this rage that Melinda had, and she knew that if she played the cards well, she could enter in this mix, you know?
A perfect gamble.
Perfect. She played, and you know, this whole innocent look when she was looking like, I was like, no, girl, you're the villain,
Mm-hmm.
in this whole thing. But yeah, we learn a lot of lessons from this whole thing where, in life, if you've dated around a lot, you meet these guys that are not where you are, and you sort of help them. And when they've arrived, they literally leave you for the other person. This is a typical
True.
example of how, it happens a lot, especially if you start dating young. So yeah, it just took me back to some of the things that happened to my friends and, to my family members in sort of similar situations where this guy has nothing. You just sort of carry them, and then they arrive and they're like, bye. I don't know. It's just, it really messes up with the head. But overall, I think it was a good movie. I think Tyler Perry tried to touch on too many things at once. It should have been a
Mm.
series. It was too pegged for an 1 hour, 30
Mm.
minutes thing. It's difficult to take all of it in at once.
True. True. Thank you so much, Fortune. I totally agree with you. And just to pick up from one of the points you raised about the fact that both of them, they kind of grew it together in the relationship, it kind of also exposed the dangers. A lot of people might disagree with me, but here's what I got, that it kind of exposed the dangers of dating early and growing with that one person, because in as much as you grow with the person, the world changes around you, and the person also changes, you also change. So I just feel like it wasn't really healthy, the fact that both of them were just stuck with each other. I mean, for me, I just felt like their constant presence with each other alone was toxic. I feel like they easily got tired of each other. Their relationship became stale quite too early. Yes, that's what I felt too.
And yeah, before Faith speaks, it's almost what you've said makes so much sense as well. And I want to add a little bit about how after Robert had spent all of Melinda's money, I think there was that guilt that he could not even if he wanted to leave, he just
Mm,
couldn't leave because you've just spent so much of my money, you've taken so much of me, my life, I can't have babies. The rage that Melinda felt so when she saw that that other girl was pregnant, when Robert made it look like, we can never have kids and it's okay because of what happened. And now you're flaunting another pregnancy with somebody else. Her rage was over exaggerated, yes, but she had the right to actually be upset. She did,
mm, great.
So can I
Yeah.
stick around just in case other people don't
Yes.
join? Maybe Faith
Yes.
can
Yes.
speak and we can jump in.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Fortune. Thank you so much. Hi, Faith. Hello. Is Faith here? You have to unmute.
Oh,
Hello. Ah, okay. Faith, if you're not going to speak, then we'll have to move on. Do you want to share? Oh, okay. Anyways, guys, if you want to join the conversation, click on the link in the comment section. All right. Click on the link so that you can speak, so that you can share. All right. So we're still reviewing the movie Acrimony. A lot of people are really upset about the way the movie turned out. I am also really upset still. I'm happy with the fact that Fortune had to go and rewatch the movie. So we're looking at a lot of things that we probably missed right from the get-go. So we're asking the question, who is to blame? Who is to blame? So let's discuss the role of the sisters, right? Fortune, I don't know if you're there.
I'm here.
All right, so let's discuss the role of the sisters. A lot of people have argued that the sisters did nothing wrong, that they were only looking out for Melinda. Do you agree with that?
I think half and half. In the beginning, they definitely spotted the red flag. This guy was a moving red flag, and the girls were like, where we are, where we want to go, where this guy is, and where he wants to go, it doesn't look like it aligns. And I
Yeah.
think at that time, if they were of the same vision, the sisters and herself, she should have removed herself then, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
mistake was exactly what you said earlier, where she chose when to listen. If you're not going to listen,
Mm.
don't listen the whole 9 yards. Don't now all of a sudden think, oh, okay, maybe I can listen now. And their opinions were valid. When you've got a sister, a cousin, a brother, you see, you're like, it doesn't look like this is the right person for you. Whilst matters of the heart are not for us to, involve ourselves, when advice is accepted, it's good to give it, so it's
Yeah.
good to give. But I think she should have listened much earlier and just let this guy go. I don't know if that thing of
Mm.
theirs was love, but I'm not sure. So the sisters, in the beginning, they should have just then stopped giving her advice. I mean, she was never going to listen. But then at some point, she started listening. She was like, okay, I'll take it. I'll do this. So half and half. I think the sisters, boys, were the ones that should have maybe spoken to this guy, because we're a family,
Yeah.
maybe on the side, guide the guy and everything. We later find out that those boys that married the sisters were actually not perfect
Mm.
themselves. They were all
Maybe
full of
worse.
other nonsense, but these sisters were not talking about that. They were
Yeah.
talking about Robert. So maybe they are actually to blame now that I come back to my senses, because they were busy picking on Robert, but they were not talking about their cheating husbands, right? So everyone should probably, in a way, stick to themselves, give advice a
Mm.
bit, and then maybe just stick on your lane. But another person will now come and challenge this and say, Glory, if you're not going to listen to me, don't later come to want to stay in my house when you lose your accommodation,
Mm.
because that's what ended up happening. She lost the house, she had to move in with the sister. So it's kind of give and take. But overall, personally, when it comes to matters of the heart, I think maybe not listening is better, and also not sharing. She overshared with them,
Yeah,
you
they
know.
literally, and she didn't even know what was going on in the household of the sisters, but they knew everything. So I feel like she also, like, naively, ignorantly as well, exposed her marriage, her
Eh,
relationship,
Yes.
everything.
Everything, everything. Do you know, I listened to a postcard recently, to a podcast. It's one of the people on from Love is Blind. This lady from
Mm,
Love is Blind got married during the show. She met a person and got married. And then she was suffering during that relationship. In the time when she was suffering with the guy, she was sharing with what she thought was a best friend and her mother. She was literally telling them everything, right? And now that they're divorced, she came out and said, in hindsight, she shouldn't have overshared, her journey, everything that was happening, because it's opened up a lot of judgment for her former husband and for herself as well. So maybe another
mhm.
lesson could be, we share just a little bit, maybe not everything, because you're sharing with people that are not sharing their own.
True, true. And even still talking about the sisters, the sisters' role in the movie reminded me of a typical traditional Nigerian home. And I say traditional because in a typical traditional Nigerian home, they believe that when a woman marries into a family, um, or when a man marries into a family, vice versa, you are marrying the family, not only your spouse, right? So that was what Melinda had. The guy does not have family, remember? So she was the only one that had family. So she felt like, okay, it was natural for her sisters to have a say. And what that sort of relationship breeds is proper disrespect. The manner of approach from the sisters, the way the sisters would talk to the guy, it was so disrespectful. It was like at every given opportunity, they would bruise Robert's ego. So they were literally constantly belittling him. And if there's a word like that, demanding him, not like dehumanizing now, but demanding him. They were kind of like ripping off his balls as a man. So there was the part that he was broke. He didn't have his own money. He didn't have anything to his name. The only thing he had to his name were those batteries. Yes. So the sisters, by virtue of the many information they kept on getting, like all the rants, the anger, the complaints, all the information they kept on getting from Melinda, they literally put all of that into one bowl of, spite. And we're constantly dishing it out to this man. So I think that was another thing that kind of just made the whole marriage tasteless. No more respect. It was just
None.
proper disrespect everywhere. Ah,
And he was not respected by the sisters. Everybody disrespected him so much to the point
yeah.
where he even asked her, how can you let people speak to me like
Yeah.
this in our home? Anyway, there's a
Mm-hmm.
comment here. This lady is saying that this person blames the sisters for making Melinda lose her big break with Robert, right? But I think
Mm.
she had had enough, at the time. And it's so unfortunate. I think she was just tired. Can we blame the sisters? I think they just didn't trust him as well. 18 years of
Yeah.
just broken promises. I don't know if we can really blame them. And she was even an adult now. She was older. She should have just listened to her gut if she thought really this is the big break. I don't know if we can really blame them for that particular one. I can blame them for the stuff when they were younger. Everything when she was older, she was way too old to be influenced. Most of that was her
You
doing.
know, but I think the whole sisters' role in the whole thing, it started from when they were young. The sisters were kind of classist right from the get-go. Do you remember that scene when
Yes.
when they were
The
asking the
Chris
guy, "Oh,
Brown look-alike when Chris
did you
Brown.
get?" Oh my God, that scene was so disgusting. I felt really bad for the Robert guy because they were literally sizing him up and they were telling him, "Oh, this is above your pay grade, he has nothing to his name." So I think from the get-go, their concern for her, I felt like it was not genuine about love. Oh, do you really love this guy? Does he really love you? I think it was more about his worth. Does he have money? What's
Yes.
his value? You
Where does
understand?
he
Oh,
come from? Yes, there was a lot of
exactly,
that.
his background. Exactly, exactly. And we get a lot of that a lot. So I feel like what the mom did not do when she was alive, the sisters were automatically doing it already. So they
And
were
you know the
literally
funny
waving him
thing,
around.
Glory,
Yeah.
when you really look at these sisters, the way they were sizing him up and, measuring him, in hindsight, he was going to make it more than them because they all worked for
Hmm.
that company where they were delivering cakes and cookies. I don't know what they
Yeah.
were doing there. They were all there, but he was a graduate and he had potential. I just think that in a nutshell, his potential should have been fueled by just hustling on the side too. Melinda would have been okay
Hmm.
with him following the battery potential and everything, but also even go to McDonald's and pay something to the house.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah.
Amanda is writing here, even the batteries are not his. Her money went into its glory. This person is literally stripping everything off Robert. Said that the sisters made the greatest mistake to come straight at her to inform her he was cheating after they know how furious she could be. Yeah, exactly. The sisters were just literally triggering this girl. At every given point in time, they would press her trigger button, and she too, lacking self-control, she would, lose her mind, go crazy, do whatever. Yes, but let's talk about these two characters, one after the other, Melinda and Robert. Let's start with Robert. Fortune, what do you think was playing out in this guy's mind? I mean, from all what you watched in the movie that he was, because if you look at the way he's counting out all through the movie, I think okay, 90% of the time it was like he was naive. Oh, I don't know what I did. Oh, I don't know I did this. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, like when he blew up the electricity in the house, I was like, my bad. Oops. He was always playing the naive role, just as now, Melinda is genuinely naive. But for Robert, I felt like he was, I didn't know I did this. Like he was sometimes acting it. What did you see? Let me know what you saw. What did you see?
I think Tyler Perry wanted us to see a cunning person, a very cunning man who's posing as a good guy, but deep down he's not. That's what I think, and I'll tell you why I'm saying that. There's a
Mm,
time when they were sitting on a bench, right? And sitting on this
mm,
bench, Robert's face when he talked about losing his um, scholarship. That face,
yeah,
I swear, knowing Tyler Perry and how he does his facial expressions on the
yeah.
movies, that it spoke a lot to me. Like this guy is like using reverse psychology on this girl. He knows she has
Yes.
money. And he's just there saying, oh, I don't know what I'll do now. Oh, looking so distraught, like everything is going to fall apart if you don't pay this. But he didn't even say pay it. even when they went to pay it, when they went to get the loan rather for the mortgage, everything about his face, what I picked up is what the narrative of the movie was supposed to do is this is not a good guy. It's an opportunist. He saw that he could further his life using this girl,
Mm,
and he was trying to mask like he's a good guy, and yet he's not. He's not a good guy. If the first day you get a car from me, you now go and look fly in town, pick up another girl, she should have believed him from that day and she should have left with her car and run away and go and find another person. He was not a good guy. All through the movie, I saw this guy that's trying to look good and he's not. In the end, though, I think most of it was just guilt. Now he's got all this money and it was more guilt. If we talk about whether Robert loved this girl or not, I want to say if it was real life, I would say no.
mm, yeah. And then I felt like he gaslighted her when he went to her office after he had made it with flowers, and then he still told her
Mm, mm,
again, I love you.
mm.
That was
No.
the height of gaslighting. Because going back, see, this is someone that has lived with Melinda for many years. So he knows her trigger buttons. He knows what to do and what to say to get a certain type of reaction from her. So him going back, it's like throwing a bone at a dog that, oh, you kicked me out when I was nothing. Now I am something. So come catch me if you can. And she went to him. You see, and it made me when he opened the door to his house to her, it made me wonder, dude, what do you want to see? Or rather, what do you want her to see now? So if it was somebody that had actually gotten over his thirst for vengeance, when she appeared at the door, it would have like, no, you can't come in here. My wife is there. But
Yeah,
instead,
exactly. He should have said
opens
it up
the door.
front.
Yeah.
He opened the door for her to be embarrassed right there in the mansion
Yeah.
and he moved on too quickly too, flaunting the moving on and everything. Really, he was the massive gaslighter, that guy.
Oh God. Nah, that guy played with my mind. I was so pissed at that particular scene. Was so pissed. And then the other scene was when the sisters invited him and Diana after the court's hearing, and he went there. And I'm like, this guy, you know that Melinda lives with her sisters. You know that if she comes there and sees you and your new pregnant wife, she's going to get mad. Why did you come? So I just felt like at every given opportunity after he made it big, I felt like he wanted to get back at her. Hence the reason all those subtle moves he was making. Hence the reason he was doing what he was doing. And if you look at his face, he would act like he was naive. He didn't know what he was doing. He was just innocently doing what he would normally do on a normal day. It was just very, very annoying.
Annoying. And even in court, when she was claiming that she deserved half of what he got, I thought it was not a ridiculous claim. After all, somebody wrote even in the comment section, everything that went into this battery, except for your intellectual, ability to think, all the resources, all of those things were Melinda's mother's money. So if we equate what you gave me and what you got, I think I deserve half. But in court, he
Mm-hmm.
played it, that face looking at the judge, acting like he's the
Mm.
victim, like, oh my goodness, this girl, I've suffered so much with her. After all, I've paid her 10 million, like he just paid her out of the goodness of his own heart. What about all the sacrifices that she made too?
Man, that guy single-handedly took his time to drive Melinda crazy. You know where a man comes into your life and he holds your hand and drags you to hellfire. When you get to the gate of hell, he just kicks you like this inside, poop, and you fall into the burning fire. And then he stands and he looks at you and he tells you, I love you. I just feel like that was what the guy did in the whole movie. And Melinda, like a sheep to be slaughtered, meekly followed. Guys, it's
But you know
crazy.
what? The way they staged the movie, there are times where you don't want to believe that it was intentional, that honestly he wanted to do it intentionally. I I I can't believe that it was like really intentional on his part to say this is what I'm gonna do to this girl, or he was just an opportunist who could not even detach from
Yeah.
milking everything that was being given,
God.
you know?
Anyways, let's talk about Melinda. Let's talk about Melinda. You see this thing about rage, the anger, the temperament. You see, this is something that has actually destroyed a lot of women. Melinda is not the first. I feel like how Tyler Perry portrayed it in the movie, it just really announced it that there are a lot of women in relationships that have actually single-handedly destroyed themselves by the way they overreact to situations. I mean, we've established that right from the get-go, Melinda is very, very temperamental, has anger issues, leaps before she thinks. I mean, look at even their first meeting, right? The guy mistakenly bumped into her. What happened? She loses her cool. She's going crazy. And then the scene where she learned that he was cheating on her. The first thing that came to this girl's mind is not to walk away, oh, is to just go and die. Kill them all. That was the first thing that came to her mind. Oh my God. Now, do you think that that was actually justified? Because people also argued, back then, 2018, when the movie came out, that, oh, well, some people were saying, if I was the one, I would kill the guy after spending my money, after buying him a car, blah, blah, blah. Do you think that that was actually the right, reaction at that point in time?
I would say no, because now I'm thinking and I'm sitting in my house. I don't have anybody doing these things to me. But I think if I step out and put myself in a position where a person has spent so much money, bought this guy a car, upgraded him a little bit, now he goes and cheats, there's no telling what an angry woman would do. I think she took it overboard. She could have killed them, and now she ended up injuring herself. So yes, there was a bit of overreaction there, but she was young. She was definitely not gonna just watch this and drive off. She was not gonna do that. She wasn't.
Hmm.
She was not
Hmm.
gonna go. Yeah. I don't know
Hmm.
what you think. What do you think should have happened in that case? She's young. She spent her mommy's money, bought this dude a convertible, and
Hmm.
he's busy now with another girl.
So here is, I know that people are different, but this is how I normally react to most situations. I am generally a walk away type of person. Before I lose my cool and before I start going crazy, then it means I must have really been choked by the situation. Like when I say choke, like I can't breathe anymore. That's when I really fight back. When I watched that scene, I'm thinking, okay, I spent my money. Well, it's quite easy. Dude, give me the car keys. I take back the car. I probably might not be able to get back the money that I spent on other things. Maybe it's tuition fee. But that car, I'm going to get it back. And I'll tell him, you can have the girl. For me, I'm a strong believer of nobody is worth my dying for. That's me. So when I first watched that scene, that was the first thing that came to my mind. Glory, if you were the one, you would have just collect the car keys, walk away, carry your 300,000, walk away, go away. Your life would have been better. But I think, as I said before, correct me if I'm wrong. I felt like she kind of had this daddy issues. She wanted to possess this one person, that she finally has in her life. She feels this person understands her completely. And so she wants to own this guy. She wants to be the only person in this guy's life. And so she allowed all of that to get the best of her emotions, and how she ended up losing her womb. And I just feel like if this girl had died at that point, she would have probably just died happily. That after all, nobody gets Robert at the end of the day. He dies, Diana dies, I die, and that's it. So
I
yeah,
agree with you. And her certifying her anger like it's normal was also a very bad thing because she kept on
yeah.
saying, you know who I am, you know what I'm like.
Mhm.
It's okay to parade that kind of behavior if it's a good behavior, but if it's something that is so bad to the point where even the sisters were like, you know what she's like when she's angry. I think the lesson we can learn from this is if somebody has a habit of being a bad person, we should not parade it. The sisters failed at
Mhm.
counseling her to say, we know you are like this. Only last minute when they were policing her house and everything, it was way too late because her rage
Yes.
had been fueled by them in the past. they just further cemented it. Every time she was angry, they'll be like, oh, she's like this, she's like that. I think for me, that's another lesson that I can take from just Melinda's behavior. If you're a bad person
Yeah.
and you know you're bad, don't now parade it and further cement it by certifying that behavior so that
Yeah.
everyone can know that this is who you are, because that's what led her into killing herself in the end. That my
Mm-hmm.
rage is the kind of thing that would be my downfall, and it ended up being that.
Mm-hmm.
Her character in
Mm-hmm.
this movie, I hated it so much because there's a way you react to certain things. I think we've seen a situation like this in another series. I actually chatted about it in the chat, being Mary Jane, where this lady came into money. She got a lot of money. She bought a car for her boyfriend, similar to this. The boy started running around with other guys, with other girls. But in the end, she just went and she said, I'm just collecting my car. Just give me my car. And then everybody just goes their own way. That's probably what they should have done in this particular
Mm-hmm.
case. But I suppose they went with this route. Tyler Perry should have stretched a bit more to make us learn why this girl was like this. After all of this, why did she go back? We never got to understand why she went back to this guy after all of this. And
Mm-hmm.
like you're saying, if there was no father figure, it could be that's the reason, because the attachment was unhealthy. She just
Yeah.
had to be with this guy.
Mm. True. True. I agree. Are you there, Fortune?
Yeah, I'm listening to you, Glory.
Okay, yes, yes. I mean, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Please hold on. There's Eden here. Let's hear from Eden, please. Hi, Eden.
Hi, Glory. How you doing today?
Hi. I'm good. You're welcome to the conversation. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm happy to see that you're on vacation. You look good, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Concerning this Acrimony movie, yeah, like over the years, it's been trending off and on, and it always pisses me off every time I remember it.
Why?
Always.
Why?
Because yeah, there is actually a pattern of being a user from the guy, but
Yeah.
and he also he fed off her toxic nature.
Hmm. Word. Are you there? Hello, Eden. I guess she got Eden. Are you there?
I hope she comes back. I really want to hear what she wants to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a valid point that it fed off her toxic nature. That is such a valid point. Eden, please, if you can come back, we want to hear from you. Your point actually making a lot of sense. Guys, to those of you listening, if you want to contribute to the conversation, there's a link in the comment section that I've been sharing. Just go ahead and click on the link, all right, so that you can also speak. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I totally picking up from what Eden said, I totally agree with that. Oh my gosh, she just got off. Eden, if you can come back, please come back. Your point was already given. Want to hear the rest of it. Yeah, I mean, Fortune, I think that's another angle to it. Melinda's toxicity. It was just very, very huge. It was very, very huge. But then it seems like here's what I'm seeing. It seems like her
Mm,
toxicity, it comes in the form of like a mother hen. You know how a mother hen is very, very vicious. If you come close to her cheeks, she's going to use her beak,
mhm,
to pounce on you, chase you away. But with her cheeks, she kind of nurtures them, she mothers them, right? As a mother would. Now, with Melinda and Robert, I feel like that is also partially, or that was also partially the case, right?
mhm.
Any other woman that comes around, she wants to destroy everything, like burn everywhere. But with the guy, she's very, very weak, very, very gullible. What do you think about that?
Very. Yes, I think so, but I didn't see them really portraying that so much in the movie because there was only two incidences of this guy cheating, the very, very first one and the one in the end. But yeah, I think it's a different way of looking at it. I wish they had maybe shown that a bit more for me to see in that way. But I think what triggered her the most was maybe the fact that this guy had, she had to be overprotective over the same girl. I mean, maybe a different girl would have been different, but it had to be that same person from the past. I think that probably made it even worse, you know? And I don't know if we saw her angry at any other time in this movie, apart from when he was cheating, you know? All the
Mm,
other stuff she was talking about, she was a bit more polite. Like, don't you want to look for a job? Either quiet or
mm,
silent, you know? Very, very silent, where she wanted to say more, but she just couldn't. The anger only
mm,
came out when the guy was cheating. That kind of anger, I think a lot of women do justify it, that you cannot cheat on me. You know, if you don't want me anymore, say it. Let's talk about it. Just don't cheat. But when he's cheating and you're feeding him, I think that's a completely different story. So I didn't really see it so much like that, but I think that's a different way of looking at it.
mm. Nice. True. Okay. Eden is back. There's also Betty here. But then this comment is very interesting. Ola Deji said, women supporting women is what Gloria's conversation is all about. Let a man speak, and you see that Melinda is as bad as her sisters. Oladeji, I would really appreciate it if come on here as the first guy to speak because I would really love to hear your reasons, all right, for that comment. So, if you can, click on the link and let's hear from you. Eden, you're welcome back. Are you ready to continue?
So much. Yes, I am, Glory.
All right, please continue.
Okay, so I think she's a people pleaser. She wants to please people she loves. So she goes out of her way to extend herself to do things that normally she wouldn't. Because even if you're married to a man and he has issues, yes, there are things that you can talk about. Obviously, she mortgaged the house, she did all that. That's why the pain was really deep when she found out that he was cheating on her. I
Mm,
understand all the parts, but definitely, yeah, the even though the to me the script wasn't full pointer because they didn't give us all the things that led up to her losing her mind. It can't just be because, oh, he cheated on her, he doesn't want her anymore. She would have definitely been having like spasms of mental breakdowns in between. That's the way it works. So if they didn't tell us this, we can't really understand. We can only base it on what they've shown us in the movie. So I feel
mm,
like he would have seen her, he would have seen her weak sides to know that, okay, she can get like this. So if you know she can get like that, you shouldn't even have gone to have coffee with someone else without telling your wife. Normally, when men are going out
mhm,
every morning, yeah, you tell your wife, oh, I'm having lunch, I'm having dinner, do you understand? You keep your people around you abreast of your movements. And he never
mhm.
did that. He all he wanted to do was give her directions on bring money, do this, do that,
Yeah,
do this. No, it's not done. A man is a man. A man, yeah, your wife is your helpmate and not somebody to take care of you. She's meant to help you grow your family, help you grow your life, and not somebody to just, pay for your whole lifestyle, which is obviously what she was doing. And then
true.
after going through all this, after paying for his whole lifestyle, making, not really making him the man he is, but, contributing more than half of what made him, you know, be able to make that much money. And then she was left in the cold and giving like a settlement that wasn't even worth what she had invested into his life. Obviously, someone who has a history of mental breakdowns, she's gonna lose it. She is gonna lose it. Like, to be honest, I cannot really blame her. I blame all the people that were around her because a mental illness is not something that can be controlled. Yeah, people watching it from the outside might think it's just rage, it's just this, but she would have gone through years and years of depression for her to get to that level. She cannot just wake
Mm,
up one day and say, oh, I'm going to take revenge. I'm going to kill this man, kill his new wife. He goes through different stages. There are different stages of depression for her to get to that level where she thinks of harming someone else, not even just herself, harming someone else. That is another level. It's not
Hmm.
just rage. So her first of all, her sisters were not a good support. You cannot just sit down on your high horse and then be judging people's decisions when you don't understand where they are coming from. Obviously, they know her history with her dad and all, because I'm really sensing daddy issues here, or abandonment issues from male figures in her
Hmm.
life. I'm really, really, really sensing that. But
Hmm.
her sisters should have been more prominent in that aspect of her life. I feel like they were selfish and then taking care of themselves when they knew that their sister needed extra help. You cannot just come and, give someone one or two judgment speeches and then leave. No, that's not how it works. When you love someone, yeah, sometimes it is advisable to step in on someone that you love, have proper interventions, lock them up in psychiatric wards if needed. That is real love, because at the end of the day, when the person feels better, the person would appreciate you for it. That is if the person gets better. Yeah.
Hmm.
But her sisters didn't do any of that. They weren't, to me, her sisters weren't there for her. Even if her husband left her, they just stood on the sidelines and did the barest minimums that, according to the movie anyway, they showed us they did the barest minimum that they could do, just giving her one or two speeches. And to me, that wasn't all that. If my sister wasn't there for me, if I needed her, like, yo, I don't think I would be able to cope. Oh. I don't
Hmm.
think I'll be able to cope. And her
Hmm.
husband, from the beginning, he was a user from the night her mom died. And he took it upon himself that, oh, the best way to console her is by sleeping with her. What is that? What is that?
What a
I
consolation.
Yes, yes, yeah. That point alone, while I was watching the movie, I already knew that this man is a user of body, soul, money, spirituality. He's just a user,
But let
because
me ask
to
you
me,
though,
oh,
do you
okay.
think he knew better? Do you think he knew any better at that point? Or it was actually deliberate to take her virginity at that point?
Anybody with a sense of morality knows better. From like 13 and above, you have a sense of morality. Anyone with a sense of morality knows better. He did know, and he did take advantage. Maybe at that point, he didn't think they were going to go far. He probably thought that, okay, you know how guys can be now. Not all guys, anyway. Some guys are just like, it's just for the next job. Maybe he was on that phase of his life that he felt like, oh, she can be like, a booty call. Some guys don't mind, even if it's a grieving widow. They can pick you up from your husband's funeral. So I'm feeling like maybe he thought, he just hit the, sexual lottery at that point. He didn't think the relationship was gonna go as far as
Hmm.
it did. But at that point in time, he obviously used her. There is no other explanation for it. You can't say because he's young. From the age of 13, you have a sense of morality depending
Hmm.
on your immediate environment. So he knew, and
Ah, man, that's crazy, crazy.
It
But I
is.
think I actually agree with you. Okay, are you still speaking?
I think she's disappeared for a bit.
Oh, okay. Okay. At Jooms International, you're trying to connect. I think you should disconnect your video and try connecting with just your audio. Maybe that way you'll be able to connect. Okay. For now, we
But
can't
Glory,
really.
Glory, were you in the movie? Ashford said it's your fault. Ashford said it's Glory to blame. maybe, maybe
Ashford
you were
was
an extra. That's so funny.
very funny. The jury is to blame. But yeah, let's just deviate for a bit. There's something I've actually noticed about Tyler Perry's kind of movies, right?
Hmm.
And when I was younger than this, and I would watch Tyler Perry's movies, I would get emotional. But then growing up now, when I come across his movies on TV, I go ahead and I watch them. I get really pissed because I'm like, okay, I get it. This man likes telling stories about how women are being marginalized, how some black men tend to mistreat their women, because there's a part of racial history. I studied that back then in school, where most black American men back in the day used to channel all the aggression of their pent up anger from their white slave masters. They used to channel all the aggression on their females, their wives, their sisters, their daughters. It was as bad as them, not only physically abusing those women, but also molesting their daughters. It was really deep. I read a lot of books about it, right? So when you watch a lot of Tyler Perry's movies, you see that line of thought in there, right? And most of the time, you also see where he tries to tell stories of how these women work towards liberation, how they work
Mhm.
towards liberating themselves, liberating their daughters, liberating the men around them. And his stories are usually very, very rich. I always love his messages. But then, typical movie that has a bit of acrimony in it is Why Did I Get Married? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really
Mhm.
sure if that's a Tyler Perry movie, but that Why Did I Get Married?
I think it
That
is. Yeah,
movie,
those are her. It's his movies. Yeah.
that movie got me so mad when I watched it sometime last year again. You see the way, let's just again for a bit now. You see the way the friends, right? The way they still accepted the guy, I can't remember his name, the one that dumped his wife because she was overweight, and then he brought in another his side chick. And then I see the way the guys just, included him back into the circle, like nothing happened. They turn a blind eye when the guy is being disrespectful to the woman. You see all of those things.
Yeah.
It just got me really mad when I saw a bit of that happen in Acrimony again, and I'm referring to the part where Melinda's sister started policing her house when they did not
Mhm.
want to let her out of the house. And I'm thinking, but the sisters are supposed to be, in quotes, fighting Robert, having a go at him, that how would you settle this lady with only $10 million? $10 million is not enough to make up for 18 years of her wiping your ass in the house. It does not make up for all the money she spent, all the time, losing her womb. It does not make
Yeah,
up for
but
all of that.
I
So
guess
I
yeah,
felt like that was just hypocritical. I was blaming Tyler Perry for that scene. I was blaming
yeah. I think it becomes a bit too real with the movies. Very very real that it loses that fantasy of what we want a movie to be. That the picture that is almost perfect. You just would normally give it as it is because this is normally how a situation like this would just happen in real life.
him.
So he doesn't doctor it to make it exciting so that we can be happy. He just gives it as it is, and that
Ah,
realness is not easy to accept. Yeah.
no,
Sorry.
that realness is painful. I don't like it.
Sorry, can I say something?
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Please
Um,
go ahead. Go ahead, Nini.
Hi, it's so nice to be on this live. My name is Nini, by the way. I feel
You're
like
welcome.
I think it's also nice if we also have a men's perspective on this issue because we're obviously women on this show, and it's
Yeah,
very very easy for us to obviously side. What was her name on the show again? Melissa.
Melinda.
It's very very
Melinda.
easy, yeah, for us to side her because the movie I was actually watching it with one of my guy friends, and we were both watching the movie. And when she was doing the two jobs and she was doing every single thing, and one question that really touched me when the movie was playing, and she asked her husband, and the question goes, have you ever asked me what I want? And this was
Mm.
years and years, and like she looked very tired, and she said, I am tired. And the guy beside me didn't say nothing, he didn't say anything. He started voicing out his own opinion when she was trying to come back. And what this guy said was, why is she trying to come back after he has made it? I was like, really? Like, are you really saying that right now? Like, you're trying to say, like, you didn't even say anything because now you sound really biased because you didn't say anything when she was doing two jobs, when she was paying all the bills. This guy didn't work for years. Like, he didn't do anything for years. And honestly, the question is, who are we to blame? I'm going to blame Melissa. Like on it, like
Hmm.
80%, I'm honestly gonna blame Melissa. I have a different approach towards the situation. Like, I would never ever stay for that long in a relationship. I know love can make us do a bunch of things. I'm not in her position. I work in like a mental health facility, and most women they end up like that because
Hmm.
they've lost everything. They have good things coming for them, but at the end of the day, they lost everything because of a man. And it's really easy for her to acquire that mental health and her being in the therapy, but she took it upon herself. She stayed there. She worked for decades. Yes, she loved him because she
Hmm.
believed this guy would create a family for them. But this guy left. He left.
Hmm.
I would love for us to have a male on this show because we are women. Of course, we're gonna take over her side. Of course, we're
Mhm.
from her perspective because we're emotional beings. We're gonna be emotional about the situation and be like, you know what, she did this, she did that, but she stayed. Like she literally,
Hmm.
I would leave because I'm the one making
Mhm.
the money. I would leave. And I asked this so-called guy while we're watching the movie, I was like, so why didn't he fight for the relationship? Because them two, they basically, built this life together. Even if she wasn't like, I feel like at a point she stopped believing in him, she stopped believing in the
Sorry,
battery.
sorry, sorry, please. I need to interrupt now, Glory.
Go ahead.
Uh, Someone said something which is not actually correct. The
What
guy
is it?
fought in the relationship towards the end. If you could still cast your mind when the sisters were asking the guy, when the sisters were asking Melinda to get a divorce, the guy
Mm-hmm.
kept on begging Melinda, telling her
Mm-hmm.
no, that she should not get a divorce, that let them be together, that everything will work out soon. He kept on begging for them to be together. But the sisters convinced her to get a divorce. So let's not say that the guy didn't make he didn't make any effort at all. Remember, there was gap in years when Melinda divorced Robert before Robert actually made it. Let us not
Was it
forget
in
that
years?
there were some gaps in years. What of in those gaps in years, whether Melinda dated anyone else? Why did she now come back when she heard now that Robert has made it?
No, but it wasn't really years. I think it was
It
months,
was three
actually.
months. It
Three
was
Three
three
months
months.
months.
only.
3 months. Yes,
Only
3
three
months.
months.
Chigoze, 3 months is not enough, man.
Yeah,
I
only
know,
three
I,
months.
I know it's not. I know it's not enough. I know it's not enough. But the guy, I'm not actually trying to say that the guy was actually did. I'm not actually trying to side the guy. I'm actually coming to perspective where someone said that the guy didn't put in an effort to fight for the relationship. The guy did actually at a point, but the sisters already convinced Melinda that no, that this guy is not good enough for you. This guy is not making money. If you could remember somewhere in the movie, I think
Mm-hmm.
it was a truck belonging to one of Melinda's sister's husbands, or either the brother, or like a
The
male
family.
figure in that Melinda's family. I can't remember if it was the husband, it was the husband of the sister or one of the brothers,
Was a
something.
joint business, yeah.
Yes, the joint business. That Robert took the truck to go pitch his business idea
Uh-huh.
for, to that industry that later told him, okay, let us buy the whole idea, let us just buy your idea and then settle it. And he refused. Remember, the guys came and started harassing him. Why did he take the truck over there? And he was in
Mm-hmm.
all those situations. Then when I was then telling Melinda to divorce him. So like the guy actually fought. So nobody's trying to say that that the guy
I
didn't
don't
actually.
think I
Okay,
totally agree with that. I don't think I
I
totally
don't
agree with
agree.
that. I don't agree with
He
that. I'm
fought.
so sorry.
No, 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 sorry. He
I,
fought. He
she never listened to her sister one bit. She still stood by her man the whole decade. Like she could have left. Do you see how? Yeah, they were very toxic. We're not going to dismiss the fact that her sisters were
yeah.
obviously toxic in her relationship, but she never listened to them. She was having some suspicious behavior about her man cheating on her. Then the purse, finding a purse in the truck obviously was a tick. Then she believed them and she's like going crazy. But before then she never listened to her sisters. Like they would literally shade him, say he's broke, make him feel bad. She still went with him. She still stood by her she still stood by her man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
I even
that's a
want to
safe
ask
one.
Chigozie a question. You know, you said he fought for the relationship. In your manly world, what, how would you define fighting for a relationship? Because let's put into context that these people have been together for 18 years, right? As a couple. In
Mm.
between, Tyler Perry didn't show us anything. And from her narration, she said he wasn't even contributing to anything. Although he got side jobs from time to time, but it was never something that lasted. Meaning, this guy was just chilling. This girl was providing, and protecting him from her sisters in a way and from the world out there, right? So why did he have to now start fighting for the so-called relationship when she wanted a divorce? How do you think he actually really fought for that relationship?
Very good question.
I
Because I'm
think
confused.
Good
when I
question.
watched the movie, even like, well, all I know that I can still recall the day they were about to like sign the divorce papers. He was actually begging. He was actually begging
Oh no. No.
about.
After
Nah.
20 years, like that, he's
After
selfish.
ah,
He's self-centered that whole year. He never asked
yeah.
this woman. Like I
Yeah,
literally
I
stated
actually
something.
know
The
that he
woman said,
did
"You
it
never
well.
asked me what do I want? What do I want in this relationship?" I don't even think they've even ever celebrated birthday because they never showed it. And I don't think he's
Mhm,
ever taken her on any romantic date. I don't think because she kept on narrating this marriage was all about him. Like he stopped
mhm.
touching me, he stopped caring about me. The connection there in a marriage was long gone, and she was still trying to work to hold on to those two jobs so they could survive and he could continue the battery thing he has going on. You understand what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying he shouldn't do the battery business or whatever, but still involve your wife once in a while. Like he was selfish even from the start of their relationship as kids. He's been selfish. Like this girl
Mhm.
bought her a car 3 months into the relationship. She got him a car from her mother's money. I would never do that when I'm not like on jazz. Like I'm not. I just beg you. Like I'm not
No,
going to do that. And you're saying he fought to like he was begging her at the end. Like that's when he's now very much present. I'm so sorry. That's not fair. And he just ran to the girl that he had something with. Like no, like no, like that's not right.
Yeah, Chigozie, that part you cited as an example where he took the family's business truck to rush for an interview. Nobody said that. I don't think he should have let go of the opportunity. But because this guy was so selfish in the movie, he did not even deem it fit to inform the family, even though he's on his way to that place.
Yes,
At least
good point.
inform the family that, oh my God, this opportunity just came up. They are calling me to come and sell my patent, blah, blah, blah. He didn't even say anything.
Anything.
And they
Mm-hmm.
ended up losing the client. So,
Mm-hmm.
in other words, it goes for that to show that this guy is ready to sacrifice everybody for his dreams.
it goes back to the same question: who is to blame?
Eh, eh.
That's why
It's
we need a male on the platform to just tell us, like, from a male perspective, like how do they feel about this situation? Because there are
Yeah,
men like this too, like they're all about themselves. But maybe he could also be doing this to provide every single thing he promised her from the get-go, right? Because she's been
yeah.
feeding him, making sure he's okay. So maybe he was actually doing all of this for them, and he wasn't doing a lot more communication that he's supposed to be doing, so she could be more assured, like, maybe there was no communication, like there was nothing.
that
Mm-hmm.
no communication in the relationship. Relationship
It's
lacks
crazy.
communication. True.
Yeah. Chigozie, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I said the relationship lacked communication because at a point when they stopped talking to each other, when they stopped having relations with each other, that was when communication broke down. There, the thing is that for me, blaming Melinda, one side I would blame Melinda because why a normal human being, you've gone through all this process, he has cheated on you. Like, okay, the first signal that listen, they call red flags. 3 days after buying you a car, after you bought a car for him, he went to the guy now went there and sleep with another girl. This is one of the first red flags. Okay, you lost your womb in the process of the rage, which is one of the things I can learn from that movie. Anger does not solve an issue. Anger does not solve problem at all, at all. Let everybody know that. Now, after that and every other thing, even with the battery issues and when the light went off, for me, anybody who have seen all those red flags should have said, okay, man, I'm leaving this relationship. I'm tired of it. But instead, she still stayed there. It still points what Aunt Gloria said, that is the lack of a male figure in their family. That is what made
Mm,
her it.
mm. Yeah.
No, but there were
Yeah.
four male figures though. The two sisters and the two man that were always going everywhere, like they're following each other
Those
everywhere.
ones were like the wives of
No,
the
yeah, the
marriage.
husbands.
The
Yeah, those
husband.
ones were the wives. They were not good father figures. Those guys were cheating. They had babies on the side. They were not ideal, figures. And remember
Mm,
also, they met when this girl was very young, and those guys were boys as well. So I don't think there was like a proper father
yeah.
structure to be there to give the kind of attention that she needed. So she sought after
Yeah.
it from Robert. But I want to say
Yeah.
something because Deji said something in there. I don't know if
Mm.
everybody saw what I saw, that Melinda was not about the money so much. I don't think
Mhm.
the money mattered to her. So even if she had been paid 10 million or whatever amount it was, she just wanted a comfortable home with a man that's
Mm.
available. So when
Mhm.
she went to the court asking for more, it was more her asking for attention or with the intention to hurt Robert, not so much because she wanted really the money. So I think all of these things, although in the end Robert centered it around the money, paying back for the house and all those things, they were nice to haves. But I think overall, really, this girl just wanted the dude. That's really what she wanted.
Okay, first,
Mhm.
let me ask something. Do you think that if she was giving half of the company that she was demanding for, she wouldn't demand for more again?
She would have demanded for more only to get his attention, not because she wanted the money. She doesn't project like she really wanted the money to do what with it. After she got the 10 million, she lived like a wood rat with the money in her pocket. Really, no amount was going to be enough. It was Robert or Robert dead. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
See,
like I
True.
mean,
all
let's
about
not disregard
someone
the
someone said
fact.
something that man is the prize.
But like, let's not disregard the fact that Robert was trying to build like a life fortune for them. I mean, I'm not really sure because he didn't say much. Honestly, he didn't say much in this
The
movie.
guy didn't say much.
He didn't say
Yeah, he
anything.
did say
He
He
was
was
one of those.
terrible at communication.
Yes, like, but I guess he built a fortune for himself, and hopefully, I would love to have seen Melinda at his right arm, not the lady. Like, no hate on the lady, but like, if I was Melinda and I'd figured that, okay, you know what, he is back with this woman or whatever, then I will go out there. My own perfect man would find me. To be honest, I will have a positive mind towards it. It was probably never meant to be. It is very sad, and I'll definitely go seek for help. I'll go therapy, but I can't really say that because I'm not in her situation. God forbid, I don't pray for anybody to be in that kind of situation because she's been in that marriage for 20 years and it was all about him, right? So
Mm.
it definitely could lead to mental health. That one, I'm not even going to say anything. Yes, it is very possible that that can lead to mental health. And if it was, thank God it's not a real life story, but I feel very, very bad for her. And I will
Mm.
just have a positive mind towards it and I will just wish them nothing but the best. And I will go
Mm.
seek help and I'll just stay away from them, go on different trips, just try to get my
Mm.
mind off it, to be honest.
I want to quickly ask you a question, Nini. We have Catherine here, but before Catherine speaks, you mentioned that you work with mental health patients, right? So someone spoke earlier, and the person said that she felt that Melinda had a mental illness, which the sisters overlooked because it would take someone that has actually gotten something loose in their brain, just paraphrasing what the person said, to react that way. The first time when she caught him cheating, and then she
Mm.
drove that car into that trailer. Yes. Do you actually think that she had a mental?
Nope. No, she didn't.
no,
And I'll say this:
she doesn't.
everybody is capable. See, let me tell you something. I feel like that's what is not really said in Nigeria as much. We're not really educated on mental health in Nigeria as much. I won't say I full on know because I just graduated school like last year or so. But every
Yes.
single person on this platform, we are capable of mental health. And this all comes from trauma. This all
Hmm.
comes from trauma. Okay, so it could obviously like because some like for example, me, I have childhood traumas. We have some people on this platform that probably have childhood traumas, and that could relay in some life experiences that you would not be aware of it as much. You won't be cautious of it, but all I will say is she didn't have mental illness, but it is there. Like we all have mental illness, but it hasn't just sparked yet because we don't have that trauma to spark it. I don't know if
Hmm.
that makes sense. What she did was a natural reaction. Like because she just got the guy a car and he hasn't called her 2 days after. And she found out that the love, because for a woman to get somebody a car, you really, really love him and you see a future with him, if I'm not mistaken. And she was on the table with her family, like she couldn't eat, right? And she went there to
Hmm.
make the call, and this guy told her, "Oh, I'm busy." I don't know word for word what he said, but she drove there. I'm so sorry. I think some of us in this crowd have probably done that. Like, we want to see what he's doing. Like how can I do this? And that was a natural reaction. But in terms of
Yeah.
mental illness, it was there. Like we all have that. We just, it's just trauma. Like all it takes is trauma. Like it could be like all this bipolar and different person. Every single thing we all have it.
Is
We
it
just have
same as what they call the 5 minutes madness? That every human being has that 5 minutes
we have
madness.
that thing. We have that thing. Even the most quiet person on this planet, it just takes that trigger. Like if you trigger a particular part of them, you would see it.
Hmm.
It also boils down to mental illness as well. It's just trauma. Like if you're really traumatized, like you see someone, because mostly here, like okay, I'm in Canada, right? So you mostly see people here that they talk about mental health, mental health, mental health, and they don't talk about it as much in Nigeria, right? And
Hmm.
kind of judge them because like maybe if you're Nigerian, you kind of judge them. You're like, oh, like why are they always yelling? Like why are they always angry? They've been through a lot. Like they are traumatized. They've been through so much. For example, when me, I hate when people knock on my door. Like it could be the simplest thing. I hate when people knock on my door really loud. I get scared. And of course, like
Hmm.
when I was growing up, like when I was in my auntie's place, like she knocks on the door very early and she told me to go wash the dishes, tell me to do this. It's just that trauma that is there. It's little, but it's really like something. Honestly, it takes effect on
Hmm.
your character, your behavior, and how you actually operate your life like as an adult and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Can we
Okay.
actually say that maybe that due to the fact that she lost her dad earlier on could have triggered the trauma? Meaning, can we like make it that justification towards her? Since we
Yeah.
don't know much about her father, let's say that she lost her father at the early age of her life.
Yes, but it was never spoken about as much, so I don't think so. That was not the theme of the movie. They never really. I mean, that's a really big point to be honest, because all she had was her sisters, and they were the ones doing most of the talking. Even if she never listened to them a day in her life, I don't think she actually ever heard them. She was quiet most of the time, but I don't think her father was the main issue to her trauma. Of course it's the guy heavily, and I don't even think she would get over that for life, like because mental health can be like, if it's not taken seriously, like if you don't go therapy, like if you don't go seek for the right help, it's looking like she would be in that for a very like long time, using drugs, alcohol to suffice the pain, and it would just be like that, and she could get lost in the sauce forever.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nini. Catherine is going to speak now, but I love this comment from Mpume. It says, moral of the story, never build a man, just build a house.
Yeah.
I wish I wish more men listening to this conversation are going to come have this conversation, because what Mpume wrote, or typed rather, is the exact argument I had when I first watched the movie with my male friend. And this was like, are you saying she should not have contributed to his dreams? Is that what you're saying? I'm like, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the guy took her for granted and we kept on arguing and arguing and arguing. But I would love a guy to speak on this. I'm not going to say anything about this. Okay, let's quickly move on to Catherine. Hi.
Hi, Glory. How you doing?
I'm good. You're welcome. How are
Ah,
you?
I'm so sorry. I'm not so. I realized that there was a live stream, and then when I saw the topic, you see this topic, but it triggers me. To be very honest, I just ran out. I had to leave the live stream, and then I got busy with what I was doing,
Yeah.
and I kind of took a break and said, "Let me check if Glory is still here," and you are still here. You see this topic, but see, if we start from now to forever, it will never end. And that is because the movie or the story is so relatable.
Yeah.
We've seen it
True.
happen either in sometimes if you're married in your own life, if you're not married, maybe with friends, sisters, or even our parents, even with our parents, you have so many similar stories of
Yeah.
where the man is just there and the woman is the one carrying the family and everything. So my thing is that at the end of the day, women, um we see things differently than men. That's what it is. For men, it's always about, oh, the end game, money, success, and they measure success
True.
only in monetary terms, right? So, whatever it is you have had to do, holding up the home front, whatever, all of the emotional deposit into the relationship, I don't think it really matters to some men. Some men, I won't say all men. And in this movie, it really, really just brought it to light. I know sometimes in movies they tend to, maybe it seems or it appears exaggerated, but really, if you think about it, these are real issues. I 100% agree with the last speaker. And I don't know who it was who spoke before her, who said about the lady, it wasn't really about the money. I just want a man who is present. Even if you were a dishwasher, I don't care. Just, I need to see that you are contributing into the home. Whatever it is happening in this house, you are present. I matter to you, and not just some projects or some money you are hoping to make in 100 years to come. I just need for you to be present. And if men are listening, this is all we really say all the time. So while there are people who have all that money, the millions, whatever, sometimes it's really not about that. We just need a man, a partner we can come home to, gist, talk. I really don't know what other people have said, the line the discussion was going in, but you know, off the top of my head, I'm just trying to summarize what I took away from that movie. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, you as a woman, build a house. I mean, what was that statement you read? Build a house, don't build a man. No,
Yeah.
no. And if you must build a man, know the kind of man you are building.
Ah.
Know the kind of man you are building. Some men are really worth building.
Yes, because they
Yeah,
will stick
some men are worth
by you.
building.
Yeah.
Yes. Some women, it goes both ways. If you're going to build a woman, know the woman you are building, no.
Mm.
Really, because
Mm.
don't go and build a man who only thinks that, yes, after all this money, I'm going to make $1 billion and I'll pay it back to you. No. So all that time, all that effort, everything that goes into the waiting period, I call it the waiting period. While we are waiting for all of that your money to come, how do we eat? How do we feed? Eh? Let's say they had children. How were the children supposed to, survive? But no, the man is not interested in all of that. He's only interested in that thing. If I remember correctly, there was a point where I think she pushed him and then he picked up this job. Was it that he wasn't just serious with the job or something? I'm not very sure I remember correctly.
Bro could not keep that job.
He just couldn't. And so on one hand, it made him look like a lazy man. On the other hand, I don't know, it really made him look like a lazy man. I can so relate to this story. I can relate to it. I don't want to go
Mm.
into details, but I can relate to it. And it takes somebody who is really, 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 really like, you have to be patient, you have to be prayerful, you have to be diplomatic, you have to be tactical. Otherwise, you're going to react like that woman did and lose and mess everything up. And then in the end, it becomes, oh, it's her fault.
Hmm.
It's not her fault. It's his fault. It's not his fault. Because what do you do when you have a partner who is being selective of the kind of job they want to do? Oh, and it happens a lot in Nigeria. Let me give you an instance. You have a man who is married to so you know this thing where men just package themselves. I'm a businessman. I do contracts. It happens a lot. And then the woman falls into it. Oh, yes, I run my business. What exactly do you do? There's no content. And then I run my business. Oh, if I just get that contract, if I just get that deal, and then you're married, first year, second year, third year, fifth year, 15 years, you're just there. And then you're having children along the line, and you are just exhausted. On top of the fact that the man is not contributing, they're not even really paying attention to you because I am as a woman, I don't mind. I always tell my partner that, look, I don't have a problem being breadwinner. Me, personally, I do not have a problem being a breadwinner in the home. But there are other aspects I will expect for you to step up, you know, just in the same vein, if the man is a breadwinner, the woman also has to cover up from some other end. You understand? So it becomes
Mhm.
like a teamwork. But when one person is the only one doing everything and everything and everything in the name of and pursuing one contract, then it becomes a problem. See, that thing this lady was talking about mental health, we all have it. We just need that trigger. If you are not somebody who is like um you're so mature that to the point where you have decided that my happiness, i am the I am the architect of my own happiness. My happiness does not depend on another man. And that's also a lesson for women. I think that woman um builds her entire happiness, her entire whatever around the fact that this man has to be this or this man has to be that. Be in a marriage, but put yourself first. If the man does not want, well, just always protect your own happiness in one corner inside that marriage.
Hmm.
Honestly
Yeah.
speaking.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
let me
Thank
let
you.
me just keep quiet for now. If you have
Hmm.
questions, you can ask. I really have missed
Yeah.
out because this topic, Glory, this topic, hey,
Thank you so much, Kathleen. I just
hey.
want to share something quickly, yeah. So Robert, still on the fact that he refused, because this guy literally refused to work, and then he got a job. He refused to do the job. I don't know if any of you noticed that it was out of pride. He could not see himself doing that type of job. I
Yeah.
mean, this is someone that had nothing. You don't have anything to your name at all. The only thing you have to your name is the air you breathe. And then you got a job that's probably going to help you pay the bills in the house, at least to some extent. You cannot do that kind of job. It just completely reminded me of where I grew up. There was this particular man. He had the same attitude. So dude and his wife, they were living in the house his father owned. So the father sold the house
Hmm.
to the woman's brother. So he was actually married to someone else, and then he abandoned that person with the child. And then he married this woman that the father sold the house to the brother. The brother is based abroad. So this woman was put in the compound as the caretaker. So for many years, I grew up as a child in that compound. This man refused to do any kind of work.
Mhm.
I remember vividly when my dad would call him to our house, and my dad would have conversations with him, advising him that, dude, you have like two kids now. At that time, he had two kids. Later, they eventually add up to three kids. So my dad would call him and advise him, you have two kids now. At least look for anything to hustle so that you'll be providing for your family, because they were heavily dependent on the rent people would pay. So it now happens that The owner of the house started instructing that all rent should be paid to his own account directly. So the sister was no longer collecting rent money. So everybody was in the house broke. They will come and borrow this, borrow food, borrow to cook. So my dad would advise him, okay, if you go to those place and you can carry blocks, this was like years ago, like over 20 years ago. But you can carry blocks, you can carry this just so that you can be bringing at least 500 naira every day. You'll be like, hey, God forbid, how can I do that kind of work? This guy was so selective of the kind of job he wants to do. He refused to do anything according to him. If he does not get a job that he'll be earning at least, as at that time, oh, at least 200,000 a month, he will not do that job. And think about it, 20 years ago, 200,000 a month was actually a big deal. So my father, my mother would talk to her, this guy refused. And he stuck to his words to the point that the wife started doing a cleaning job in a primary school. And that cleaning job, they were paying her like 15,000 naira a month. So it is whatever the wife earns after work, she will branch to her family house. She will go and pack food stuff. Sometimes if they cook soup or stew, she will carry. And then when she comes back to the house, she will come and borrow other ingredients from my mom. And then she will mix it all up together and cook. And this mother effer will sit down and eat. And in his food, if you don't put meat in the soup, you will not eat. I know because when we cook food and we don't put meat, and he sends his kids to come and collect soup, he will tell them to ask my mom if there's meat in the soup. If my mom says no, he will select. He will say he cannot eat it. Guys, growing up, if there was a beggar that had a choice, it was
Yes.
that man. This man was a beggar, but he had a choice. But then God did it for him. I don't know how he got the connection, but then he started doing clearing and forwarding. He started selling cars. You know, they will import cars into Nigeria. He will go and hustle at there's this place, this depot where they sell cars in Lagos. He will go and hustle, they will look for a buyer. And then when they find a buyer, his commission for that could be like probably maybe 100,000 naira at a go. So he started making the money. Guess what? When the money started rolling in, dude started pussy humping everywhere. You shag this one, you shag that one, you shag this one, shag that one. So it was just a mess. It was a mess. The wife always went mad. But then guess what? People could not really judge the case because, okay, madam, before you came in, there was a woman with a child. So you are here now, you're suffering the brunt of it. But the point I'm trying to make is I've actually seen men, or let me not say men now, but a man just like Robert,
Yeah.
who has so much pride. You know, his ego is bigger than Nigeria, that he's a beggar, but he's also very, very selective of jobs. And when the wife tried to leave him, guess what country people said? Because the man is poor, you want to leave him. It's not good though. You should support your husband when he does not have anything.
Nonsense.
That's the problem. That is the problem. It's always about the money. And
Yeah.
I keep telling men, young men, it is never about the money. Yes, you don't have money, but what is your attitude inside that poverty, or
Exactly.
while you have not made it? Yeah, what's the attitude? How else are you covering up for money that you do not have? How? And that is why, and that's what makes a whole lot of difference. So, and it makes a difference in the way the woman then either supports you or how calm she is. I quite agree that there are terrible women. No matter what you do for them, that's when their rubbish behavior will come up and start insulting you and all of that. But really, a woman who is a woman, like a correct human being, would know that this is a trying period. And for the man, you have to be ready to put in the work, put in the effort. Not that they are suggesting to you, oh, can you drive Uber? No. How would you, a friend of mine, her husband was telling her, how would you be proud to introduce your husband as an Uber driver? It got to the point where I was telling the girl, please don't tell me again, because my sister, it's either you decide to stay or you leave, or you just lock up. because at this point, what can somebody say to you? It is always about, oh, if it is not this job as a manager, okay, if the job as a manager doesn't come, what do we do? You're just going to be okay sitting down, lounging every day. You have a car. So she then suggested, we have a Jeep. Can we sell it? Buy like, you know, this popular car in Lagos that they use.
The muscle.
I can't remember the name. This very nice Toyota car that they use for.
Yeah, I think it's muscle. Abi grandpa. Abi what they call it.
So she was suggesting that, and the guy was like, "How would you feel introducing your husband as an Uber driver? Hey, of all the things happening in the world, it is your job title that matters to you, you know." So, and these are just the little things. I know
Hmm.
in my own family, my mom hustled a lot. It was later on in life I realized, okay, this was actually a thing where my dad wasn't, he was just a laid back person. He had his business and everything, but he was just laid back. If there's no money for school fees, well, everything is not about education. You can actually learn a craft, you know, you can actually learn a craft and you'll be okay in life. In fact, he will not start making excuses. Ah, well, there are people who studied law who then ended up as cobblers, shoemakers. You guys watch them on TV. But my mom, on the other hand, will say, university, if you're not getting a university admission, go to a polytechnic. If there's polytechnic is not coming forth, go to a college of education. You understand? She was that kind of a person. She would get up when I didn't get admission into a university. She got me an admission into a college of education. I hated that school, but I hated it so much. But guess what? I didn't even understand what it was that she was doing. She wasn't just going to fold her hands and allow her children sit down and wait until you get university admission. So while I was waiting, I spent 3 years in that school. Guess what? It was that same certificate I used, and then I progressed into the university. My immediate
Hmm.
younger brother, it was the same thing. He wasn't getting admission. My mom would just say, "Look, anyway, the state doesn't even matter. Just keep yourself busy. Just be doing something. You understand?" But my dad, on the other hand, would say, well, the admission didn't come. So he can't really be bothered. Although he tries to give you alternatives, he gives you other options. But to me, those options, I just feel like he was not being the man in the house. You understand? He wasn't being in. So he would try, but he wasn't really there. He wasn't really there.
Hmm.
And then when I became older, and I realized that okay, there were this kind of things were happening in other families as well, where the mother is just the one who does everything, and then the father was just sometimes. In fact, in my own family, it was even okay because in some other families, the men were just zero, zero, hmm, zero. It's really a thing, you know. And like I said, we have seen it happen in so many it happens differently with people, friends, neighbors, if you really think about it and we really want to bring it home. My sister, let me keep quiet.
Glory,
Hmm.
let me guess from that your story, the
Yeah.
woman was actually working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was working. She
Good.
was working. It wasn't such a fantastic job, but she had something she was doing. You
Let
understand?
me tell you,
So which story now?
I don't mean to cloud chase,
Mhm.
but I'll always say this to women: don't marry a man who doesn't have a handwork of his own, whether it's a job or a business that he's doing. Don't
Mhm.
actually go into that marriage. Don't actually use your money to go into that marriage. Yes, they say that build a man, a woman can build a man. But the thing is that what are you doing? If we cast our mind, let's say that what seed did you plant on the ground for it to germinate?
Exactly.
You don't actually expect like, okay, you dig a ground, nothing is on it. You don't actually put a
Hmm.
seed on the ground for it to germinate. You must put a seed before rain will fall on that seed for it to germinate.
True.
So you must have something you are doing. Let me take for example me, Glory. When I came here firstly, I'm the type I've programmed myself. Okay, let me say my parents programmed me to wake up by 5:30 a.m. in the morning till today. Even if I go for night vigil or go for anywhere, go for party throughout the night, once it's 5:30 a.m. in the morning, I wake up. My body wakes me up. When I came into here, before I got my main job, I started up with a job that requires me to wake up by 4 a.m. in the morning. It was a factory job. I stand up from 7 o'clock in the morning to 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. It was a trying time for me. But did I do it? Yes, because I needed the money to actually do the trainings that will actually get me to my ultimate job. The thing is that what do you have in your hands? What are you actually doing? That's why I say I don't mean to cloud chase, but I will advise women not to go into a marriage with a man who doesn't have something he's doing. Sorry to any man who get offended with this statement, but this is my idealistic view. I've seen
Hmm.
women who go into marriage with this kind of men. It doesn't really end well. Whenever the man gets the money, it's always happened. It's just in a very few cases that this situation does not happen. The man will just forget the woman and will start squandering the money. The thing is that once you don't go through that rough phase of life, once you don't go through that trying phase of life and do something in it, when the bountiful harvest comes, you wouldn't know how to handle it. The situation
Hmm.
I told you that I went through, a phase of life I went through, I took a break from the channel. What actually saved me was that what actually saved my finances was like the money I've already saved when I was doing that 7 a.m. job, that 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. job. That was what saved my finance. If not,
Hmm.
glory, I will be begging for money. And
Hmm.
I forgot to say it in the last when you talked about insecurities. One of the things I hate doing is begging. I
Hmm.
find it difficult to beg people for something. My mom will always tell me that, oh, that you prefer to die in silence than actually ask people for something. For me, I actually prefer to work hard, give me a job to do, and pay me instead of you dashing me that money. So
Hmm.
financial security is very, very important when it comes to marrying. People keep on saying that, oh, that finances is not important. Yes, finance is important. Let us not underplay it. Start up anywhere. For me, start up anywhere. It mustn't be too big. Anything you have small, start up with it. That is what they say that a wife is like a helpmate. When the wife comes, the help now doubles. For me
Hmm.
now, I'm actually looking at okay, very soon I should actually look out for like a woman I will marry because I actually need a helpmate. So that when I'm receiving an income, she's receiving an income, it makes the income of the family double. And there will be like a savings that if one person falls back, there could be something to fall back on while we are waiting for God to answer our prayer for bigger items. So for
Hmm.
me, get something you are doing. For men who don't have something they are doing and then go marry, I don't support that. So it's not like I'm cloud chasing. I'm saying I'm bragging that I have money. But for
Yeah,
me,
it's your
this is
yeah.
my opinion. Thank
Yeah,
you.
your opinion. Thank you so much, Chigozie. There's a very interesting question from Ajuns International. Ajuns, it's really sad that your device is not connecting. So, Ajuns is asking, can we really classify Robert as a guy who doesn't have what he's doing? I think that's a very interesting question. I'd like to hear from Fortune first, and then we can have Nini to also contribute, please.
Glory, I actually didn't understand the question from him. What exactly is the question?
Okay, like a jobless guy. Remember, for the most part of his life on the movie,
Yeah,
he was working on a dream, the battery, right?
yes.
So, if when you try to imagine it, is it possible that this guy from morning till night for over 20 years, he's been working on that battery and that battery alone? Or would you classify him as a jobless guy because he wasn't contributing anything to the household, to the marriage?
To me, he's a jobless guy because I think 18 years is a very long time. Honestly, it's a long time for you to wake up to do the same thing. I see the potential. I can see that you're working towards your potential, but 18 years is a very, very long time. I think for me, if I was in that marriage, I would have wanted for him to go and look for a job that is not too
Mm,
demanding, and then at night come and do your hustle. So yes, for me, I think he was jobless. He was definitely jobless and borderline lazy because you want to eat, you want to be fed, you want to be clothed. Those things do
mm,
not come from potential. I'm sorry. They come from money.
mm,
So if this
mm.
woman was not there, would he have been comfortable to wake up in that trailer every single day with no money to eat or nothing? So, in a
Right.
way, this lady enabled him to actually be lazy. And I don't know if you saw, I put in the comment section as well why I think maybe Melinda was comfortable to literally fund this lifestyle, whatever that
Mm,
lifestyle was. It wasn't bougie, but if you can feed a whole grown man from when they are a teenager to when they are 40, that's
mm,
like you comfortable. So it goes back to what the other speakers have said, where Melinda have seen her mother work for their family. So looking after people was very normal for them because I think their father died when they were very young. She grew up seeing her mom being the uh,
mm,
homemaker financially and everything. So I think she was so comfortable to actually work for them to provide most of it. But maybe he should have just pitched in a little bit. He was definitely a lazy guy, but he was also enabled by her. If she had given a
mm.
proper ultimatum, he would not have been sitting on his bum like this.
True. I actually agree with that. I agree with that. Thank you so much for Chin. Nini, do you want to add anything?
Yes, I would like to add something. I do agree with what the last speaker said, but there's a but. I'm gonna look at it in two different ways, right? The first one, which is he is a husband, he's in a family, well, just him and his wife, right? He's the breadwinner of the family, and they did make a vow together, and there has to
Mm.
be a compromise in that marriage, right?
Ah,
And Melissa is looking at him as the breadwinner. It's meant to be the other way around, right? He's meant to provide for the family. I'm looking at this on a marriage perspective because the movie showed us that he's married, right, to Mel.
mm,
So in this situation, he didn't do anything to the marriage. Like, there was no commitment to that marriage. Like, he didn't provide anything for the marriage. As far as I'm concerned, he could have just been single and let this woman just be by herself. Because if he was just by himself and he was a bachelor or whatever, hustling, because success is not built overnight. What he did, let me tell you something, what he did, he's built billions and fortune because he created light energy. Like, he's built something that will provide success for him forever. That guy doesn't have to work again. He doesn't have to work to eat. Like, it's those kind of money that you can just be in a desert for years and money will just be occurring and money will be piling up. So that those kind of success, they are not built overnight. I'm telling you right now, I have to applaud him for that. Like, honestly, like, that's why, like, I keep on saying, like, we need a male on this platform to also say what they think. But looking at it from an outside perspective, he's in a marriage. He also needs to, you know, adhere to the commitment he's made to his wife. He never did that. Whatever battery he was working on, I'm not going to say anything against that. I'm not going to, I mean, even if it did cause a lot of, you know thing to Mel, and now she has mental health, I think he should have, just stood with his vows in the marriage. I would provide this for you. We're working together as a team. You have to compromise to make sure this works. Or Melissa too didn't communicate to this guy. She didn't tell this guy what she wanted. That's also another thing, right? Because all she kept on having on her head is, this guy said we are here forever, he's gonna love me forever, because I'm also like, I also have to quote what they said in the movie. I think Melissa, she was kind of thinking that my husband, even if this battery works, if it doesn't work, he would be with me forever. We're going to build this thing forever and everything, right? So she didn't pretty much communicate with him. Okay, you could do this thing, but can you at least help me? There wasn't like
mm,
much of that wasn't said, right? So, and again, she also thinks I don't have to tell him, like he should
It is
know,
no.
right, as a man. So yeah, I'm just looking at it on those two things. Like in a marriage, he needs to have something doing for sure because he's in a marriage. The vows has been made. They like you guys have to definitely eat. It cannot just be on the wife. And whatever success he's built, he would have just done that single and not drag
Hmm.
something in his, you know?
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. You just brought out two very interesting perspectives to marriage. The first being the vow. You see that vow for me, oh God, I could take it to court and I could contest and contest and contest it 1 million times because I've seen cases where spouses have actually leveraged on that to torture their spouse. Oh, it is for better for worse, so you have to do XYZ. But that's on the side. The other one is, Robert building a forever kind of dream, a forever kind of money, right? And it does not come overnight. So if we look at it from the context of the movie, then it means this guy actually sold out over 20 years of Melinda's life,
Yeah.
including her womb and
Mm,
her sanity, to achieve that forever money that he is now enjoying with
someone else.
another woman. You get. So the question I have now, probably deviating a bit, question I have now is for people who are married, people who are in that marriage relationship, where is the right and where is the wrong in this? Because for me, I don't know if I can swallow this. If that is what is going to take me to the altar, I would rather remain single. Yeah. Honestly, because it's like selling your soul to the devil, all for love, all for having someone in your life. So where's the right or wrong in this? Anybody that can help.
I'm not married, so I can't
Be
really.
very honest. Is anybody speaking?
No, we're not married. Please go ahead.
Go ahead, please. You're just
No, but we've been to
Remember, we're
weddings
not
though.
married.
We don't even have to like we've been to weddings, right? And we've lived with our mom and our dad. Like we've seen how those things have transpired during the years. And you also attending a wedding. Like I love weddings because you just see like, two couples coming together. It's just love and it's just it's happiness and them committing to each other. It's like Glory said, it's a forever thing. Of course, like we have to be there to kind of see the experiences and then but you attending a wedding and you living with your mom and dad and of course maybe some of us maybe our parents didn't stay together and maybe some are divorced like my mom and dad they divorced but they lived together for 11 years. They were married for 11 years and there was commitment. My dad was doing his part, my mom was doing his like her part, right? But in Robert and Mel's situation, Mel was the breadwinner, so he wasn't doing anything, in my opinion. If they were both married, he wasn't doing anything as a husband. That he had told her when he proposed with the plastic ring. If we cannot remember in quotes, it wasn't even a real ring. So he basically is committing to her like as a husband, right? So I don't know. Like Mel didn't do anything. Mel was not communicating. Mel was, and this woman said towards the end, like when he got that proposal of 800,000 or something, this Mel said something like you had a good woman in quotes had, which he actually did. To be honest, I don't think we have women that are like that now anymore.
Mm.
Like that would stick beside you, even if people are talking and saying he wouldn't make it. That battery, he's not gonna be successful and everything. She still believed in him, but she just wanted him to just work. Like I feel like if he had worked and just maybe things would have been better. I don't know, but yeah, in that marriage, he wasn't doing anything in that marriage.
Mm. Okay.
These
Catherine,
are, these
Catherine,
are
are
the
you married?
conversations. Yes, I'm married. I've been
Please
married.
Oh,
enlighten us.
please.
Glory. You see why I'm just shouting glory? This topic, eh?
Enlighten us.
I just don't want to share my story personally, but it's real, to be very honest. These are the conversations that young people need to have before you go into marriage. They say marry potential, marry potential. Uh, you don't need money. It doesn't have to be the money. Yes, you do not need to have money, but you need to have uh, what was it that Chigozie called it? Is it handwork or something?
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah.
handwork.
So my pastor then would say it doesn't have to be a job. Is there a work in your hand that God will bless? Yes, he
Hmm.
had this dream, but was it bringing in money? The answer was no. And we all know that in a marriage where there's no money, especially coming from the man, I don't know. And that's why I said it takes some level of maturity on the part of the woman to be able to wait. Hmm.
Hmm.
But even if you are mature, please, 18 years. 18 years is such a long time. That's one.
Jeez.
On the other hand, my point again is what seed have you been sowing into that marriage in the entire 18 years? There's a comment here. The person who raised this comment and said, can we categorize this guy as somebody who had nothing he was doing? If that
Yeah.
thing he was doing was giving him, let's say, I don't know how much, whatever, at least he was earning an income from it. Yes, it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't even have to cover the entire bill of the family. Yes, but this was literally not bringing anything into the family. And apart from the money, what else? In a family, it goes beyond money. Money is not the only thing that keeps. Yes, money makes it sweet, but apart from money, it really goes way. In fact, throw money away, because a man that is not emotionally available to you,
Hmm.
on top of that, does not have money. Ha! I don't know.
Exactly.
And he says someone was working on a project that took 18 years. So in all of that 18 years, he was not emotionally available. He was not even trying. Yes,
Hmm.
he was trying to build that dream. Kudos to him for that. But 18
Hmm.
years, they had a child, let's say second year in their marriage. So that child would have grown, become a teenager. So is it dream that that child will be eating? Is it
Hmm.
this dream that that
Hmm.
child would have been eating? I mean, so it would have probably been worse because um, things like looking after, I don't know, they didn't really tell us a lot, but there's so many other things you can do that tells the woman that, yes, this man has got me. There
Yeah.
were so many other things that he could have done to really give her that assurance that, yes, it is you and I, and I'm trying and I'm doing this. Somebody else said, do something else in the day, come back, or even while at your job, you're doing your research, just keep pushing. 18 years is a long time for you to wait, even for the man himself. And there was
True.
something somebody said, if Melinda wasn't there, he would have found another woman. That's the answer. If it wasn't Melinda, imagine Melinda wasn't patient enough. He would have kept on jumping from one lady to the other. Survival
At
until
least, at least it would have worked. You saw when he was chased out, he went to the restaurant and he was cleaning the dishes.
yeah,
Do
Hmm.
something,
do something. He wasn't
you
True.
doing
know?
something. And I think beyond the money, he wasn't in that marriage. That is what it is for
Yeah.
me. That is
Hmm.
No,
what it
Catherine,
is
you're
for me.
right. He checked out because if you saw
Yes.
towards the end of the movie, Catherine was not Catherine,
Yeah.
apologies. You were
It's
not in the movie.
mm.
Melinda was so drained. She was
Yeah,
in the
she was
Yeah.
office.
drained. Oh
Yes,
my
she said
God.
he is not showing up in bed. In fact, he was living in another room. There was no
Yeah.
emotion. They were working in the, she said they lived like roommates, in the end. And I think those are some of the things. If you've dated a man, when I was young, I dated a person that also, they had a job and then they just decided this job is not good enough. They left. I lost all the respect. I was like, nah, there's nothing you can
Hmm.
tell me. It happens so much that when a person has lost the thing that you think a man should have, you just start looking at them like they are a thing. So when she
True.
also lost the affection from him, which is the major part of what he was contributing, he clearly was good in bed. She said that. So I think the only thing he was giving was the affection. When he stopped doing that, there was really no benefit anymore. That's how she ended up with the cheating. Was like, you know what, boy, bye. But I think
Hmm.
it takes a lot to respect a person who is not just doing what we thought men, what we were trained in our heads that men should do.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
addition to that, right? So whatever it is you're doing is not working. What else can you do? Look around you. My mom worked as a teacher. She also had a business. My father was like a full-time businessman. And in business, they have seasons. My mom also, they started doing the same kind of business. But you know what my mom would do? If the season in this business is looking one kind, this woman will switch quickly. She switches very quickly because, hello, 6 children. They have to eat. But my dad, on the other hand, will be like, oh, business is really slow. And then my mom is just trying to drag her along, drag her along. Can you just switch? What business is it now that everybody is talking about? Can you just quickly switch? We do not have time to be waiting around, waiting for business to come back. Yes, you love it. It has been your baby. But right now, you've got 6 children. 6. You don't just wait around. So my mom would switch and switch and switch and switch and switch. There was nothing my dad didn't do for her to stop her job while she was doing business at the same time. She refused. The salary was nothing, but she just held on to it, So she just kept, and then she would, persuade him, try and talk him into, how about you do this? I can link you up with my suppliers, just so that this, because when business is not moving on fine, your capital is going to get drained and all of. I'm just trying to like bring it home, if you understand what I mean. So and then he will say, oh no, I believe that business will pick up. It will pick up, yes, but we need to eat. When my mom would say, oh, go get money from your dad for school fees, he goes, oh, I don't have money, business is slow. All of that, everything going on, you really have to be able to like keep the home going. And I'm just speaking financially. Finance alone is not everything that there is to it. And this person, is this a man or a woman, keeps saying, oh, her sisters influenced her wrongly. Influencing her wrongly would have meant not even marrying the man in the first place. Influencing her wrongly would have meant leaving the marriage after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. Not after 18 years. You do not say somebody influenced somebody wrongly after 18 years, for goodness sakes. 18 years? No. She stood her ground, but the man wasn't just forthcoming.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. So that we will round up, because this conversation will not end. So that we'll round up.
But Glory, we didn't even get to talk about the second wife, how she fell in love with this guy. I wanted to hear what other people would say about that woman, because she's acting like our silence about it makes it look like she's just innocent. She's not.
No, she wasn't in love. That's someone that secured her wealth in life by playing the right card. For me, I think, what's her name now, Diana, I think that lady, she gambled on an opportunity and it turned out well for her. Because think about it, yeah, at the end, this guy had a gunshot wound, right? So if he died, think of a perfect ending. She gets everything. Everything will automatically be willed to her. So that was somebody that took, you see that scene where she was watching the videotapes, where the guy was saying, oh, I'm doing all of this for my wife, my wife is here. She saw potential, that potential of, oh, this guy, if I end up being with this guy, I am made for life. I remember the office where she was working. What was she working as? A mayor's secretary. The only thing she had was a leg in through the door of the dream company that this guy had been, fantasizing or dreaming about working with for many years. So she had the connection. This guy had the product. He had the game. He had the plan. So the only thing she did was, I think she just found an opportunity. She latched on it and she got what she wanted at the end. So I don't think she was in love with the guy.
And trust me, if it did not materialize, if that whole thing did not materialize, do we think she would have held on to
she
whatever
won't stay, of course.
She wouldn't have stayed.
So
And
she will
there's a
say,
comment here that says we are looking at this conversation from the woman's lens. Yes. So you have to look at it from the, if you are a young person or a single person going into a relationship, it is clear. Men think differently, women think differently. You have to be ready. Know
Creative
what you are
ideas. Can
going
you
into.
click on the link? Can you click on the link? We would love to hear your perspective. If you're a man, please, or even if you're a woman, still, just click on it and share with us. Those of you that are saying that, oh, a guy has not said, please, if you're a guy, click on the link and share. We would love to know what you think about this conversation. Yeah. But I was saying before that let's share, and because I actually learned a lot from the movie. So one after the other, please can we just share lessons learned? I'll go first. So number one, ignorance is not an excuse for finding yourself in certain messy situations. Yes. I know that people say, oh, the concept of wokeness is a Gen Z mentality, but at the same time, I think it pays to be woke. Yes. There's someone that told me one time that if you go to a country and you break a law, they will not accept the fact that you're ignorant of the law. You will still serve the punishment at the end of the day. So ignorance is not an excuse. I think Melinda was just very, very ignorant to a very, very terrible extent. But that did not also take away the fact that she was aware of the kind of person she was dealing with. Yes. So ignorance is not an excuse, number one. Number two, weigh the consequences. Can you handle it years from when you want to make that decision? You know, a lot of people they basket the moment of their decisions all in the guise of emotions. Oh, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Oh, I need this person. Question I always ask myself when I want to do certain things is 20 years from now, 10 years from now, will I still need this thing? And it depends. So that's another lesson learned. Another lesson I learned is have plenty side hustles. You can be passionate about a lot of things, but then in the world we live in today, ask yourself, will that passion pay my bills? That's a very, very valid question for me. So that's one lesson I learned. Always have many streams of income, always have many side hustles. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If this thing is not working out, don't sit down, be waiting for the day it will happen. What's this guy's name? Robert in the movie, I think it was luck. Yes, he was persistent. Yes, he was consistent, but I think it was also luck. If Diana was not working in that company, then fortune would not have smiled on him. I don't think he would have achieved that dream another 18 years time. Yes. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yes, you want to work at your dreams. Yes, you want to be consistent, but have different side hustles that will pay bills because in this world that we live in today, nobody is giving you anything for free. So don't think that, oh, because I have a man or a woman or a support system, I'm just going to be chilled. Something could happen. There's the issue of inevitable death. There's the issue of war. Yes, different situations that can just arise and take away that support system that you have. I mean, look at Robert in the movie when Melinda left him. This guy went back to the kitchen to go and wash dishes. Why? To have a roof over his head and to have money and to have food. Yes, that kitchen where he was working, I think he said in the movie that that was where he was living. So at the end of the day, if push comes to shove, things go bad, you will still need to use your hands to look for something to fall back on. So have multiple side hustles. And then another one is relationship wise now. I don't think it's actually healthy when people allow friends, family, relatives to talk down on their partner. Once that door of disrespect is opened, there's no going back. And the worst thing I feel like could ever happen in certain relationships is when there's no respect from friends, from families, from well wishers to your partner. It's called see finish. Once your people in your circle they've seen finish your partner, then what is left there? Anything that happens, you go ahead and you share, you go ahead and you spill, you go ahead and you tell people in your circle. They lose respect for your partner. Once that respect is not there anymore, the taste in that relationship begins to go sour. Even you, as the other partner in that relationship, sometimes unconsciously, you begin to also lose regard for your partner. So that's one thing I learned. Melissa's sisters, yes, they had good intentions from the beginning, but their way of handling the situation, their manner of approach to that man, Robert, it was all toxic, in my frank opinion. Yes. These were really the outstanding lessons learned for me. Oh, and the ultimate of it all, I said it before, nobody is worth dying for. Yes, nobody is worth dying for. Because at the end of the day, when you die, they'll bury you. Life continues for everybody else. So anger is never an option. Nobody's worth dying for. Temperaments, keep your temperament in check. You have anger issues. Well, stop telling people that's how I am. There's always room for improvement. You can always work on yourself. That's how you are is never the right way to go. The series we just finished watching, that's the Real Housewives of Abuja. We had a certain housewife or a character there. She's not married, so she's not a housewife yet. That was literally spreading toxicity, and every time people talked to her about it, she would say, "Oh, that's how I am. You know that that's how I am." I always see people that say that, as very, very toxic because they use such a lame excuse to cover up for their excesses. Yes. So personally, those are the lessons I learned from the movie, a few out of the many. So I'm just going to quickly move on to Fortune. Fortune, do you want to share?
Yes, yeah, everything you said, and I think I'll probably just add one more that if people want to get married, at least you guys must try and find common ground, want the same things, and communicate those things on a regular so that, oh, international. I even smiled that we've got this
National
new,
is here finally.
yes. But anyway, so mine is just if you're gonna get married or go into a long-term relationship, want the same things and communicate on a regular so that at least you are walking the same path. Because these two, I don't think they really wanted the same things. So that's just what I picked as well from this. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you so much, Fortune. Nini?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do agree with everything, including you, Gloria. I agree with everything you said. What I would just add is you can't always put your trust in people. Of course, like clearly the movie had showed us, including your partners that want to spend the rest of your life with. You can't always trust anybody. You also have to, just have a mind of your own. And the
Yeah.
second one is having expectations. Like
Mm.
expectation, honestly, it's a really dangerous disease because it can lead to disappointment, which can lead to so many other things, heartbreak, betrayal. So just putting your expectation on people, like it's a forever thing, and you don't
Mm.
end up with that expectation, right? And also,
Mm.
I'm gonna take a little point from Robert. I really envy him, and I envy that hustling side. Is success is not built overnight. To be very honest with you, like never give up on your dream. Um, he never gave up. Like that's one thing I honestly like. He never gave up on his dreams. He believed so much in himself. Like he didn't want to give up. He believed that this would definitely do something. Like he wasn't even looking at the money side. You understand? Like he was more so looking at
Mhm.
what that would do, and he provided light. Like so basically, yeah, that's it for me.
Powerful. That's powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nini.
You're welcome.
Catherine is okay. Catherine is here. Oh, Fortune has dropped off, and Arjun's could not stay. Okay, so let's hear from Catherine.
Yeah, everything everyone has said. For me, you are responsible for your own happiness. Even
Hmm.
though we say marry who you love and all of that, you want to be happy, in the end, you are responsible for your own happiness. Like Glory
Yeah.
said, this decision I'm about to make in the next 20 years, can I still, I can't remember exactly how you said it, so that
Yeah. Is it worth it? Yeah.
Yeah, men think differently. Men are wired differently. Women are wired differently. Please always try and see things from the other person's perspective. Otherwise, that would translate into selfishness. Uh,
Yes.
Communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is very important. And before it even gets to the point of where you people are married, does this person listen to me? Does this person listen to me?
Mm.
Think that in marriages that happens a lot where I visited a friend one day and we were just chatting one evening and then the man just said, oh, the woman has no right to make a decision in a marriage. I was shocked, like, excuse me, this is a banker, smart, respected man. He then said, oh no, what I mean is that you have to run it by the husband first, blah blah blah, but he already
Oh
said
wow.
what he said. So that my friend stood no chance of taking decision without, I mean, when we say these things, they sound very trivial until you're in the marriage and you begin to see that, people are just different.
Mm.
So does this person listen to me? Conflict resolution. How do you people resolve? So if you cannot resolve conflicts, amicably with somebody you say you're in a relationship with, it's a red flag. Don't even take that decision.
True.
Uh,
True.
yeah, do not build yourself as much as you believe in your man. Also build
Mm.
yourself. Yes,
Word. Word.
yourself. And for the guy as well, especially for the men, do not make the mistake of building somebody else. I'm not saying do not trust your partner, but always look out for yourself because
Mm.
I mean, I think it was Nini who said you can't really trust people like
Mm.
that. So I'll stop there.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you so much. And you see that last point you made, that's very valid. Um, Going back to the movie, Melinda had over $300,000 left by her late mom and the house to build herself. This girl already did not like school.
Mhm.
So all the money she was supposed to use to build herself as an individual, make a name for herself, she invested everything on this guy. Yes, her husband, but even before they became a couple, she already started investing all of that in the guy. So at the end of the day, what job was she running? Just the mere clerk
Yeah.
in an establishment, you see. So she literally cut short her own achievements and her lifespan, yes, all for love. Yes. So thank you so much for that. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Arjun's International is here, is a guy. So we're going to hear from him shortly, but let me hear from Chigozie first. Chigozie, please go ahead and share your life, your lessons learned.
Okay, for me, um, from my concluding statement, number one, know when to quit, know when to leave. If things are not working, are not really the way that you want them to be, know when to quit and say it's enough. I need to step out of this. I need to save myself. Also,
Mm,
it's not bad to build someone else, but while you are building someone else, also try and build yourself too. Because
mm,
let's say if Melinda had built herself, mm, she wouldn't really feel much pain that
mm,
feeling when robot actually made it per se.
mm,
Also, my final thing is instead it passion does not pay the bills.
mm,
Effort is what counts. Start somewhere. It mustn't be something big, but start somewhere. Remember, I told you when I came, I did a factory job because I needed the money to do some trainings, to pay for some trainings that would give me the main job I did. I
mm,
started somewhere, and today I am heading to another way. So you
mm,
mustn't really wait till you make it. So start
mm.
somewhere. Doesn't really matter. As small as it is, just start somewhere. It doesn't matter where it is. Have something that you are doing. you could just, assuming if Robert got a part-time job and was supporting Melinda, they wouldn't have broken up. So for
Hmm.
me, the life lessons I've learned from it. Also, anger is also bad. No matter what,
Hmm.
your temperament, your anger level, try and work on it. So
Hmm.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chigozie. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's hear from Ajims International. Ajims is going to be our last speaker so that we can round off. Hi,
Hello, Glory. Good evening. Can you hear me?
can hear you finally. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining. How are
Thank you very
you?
much. Thank you for bringing me up. I'm fine. Thank you. This is my first
Okay.
time coming live with you, actually, and I'm actually enjoying the discussion because I learned so much from this movie, and
Yeah.
I want to speak on some of the points you guys were blaming robots on, and I feel you guys are not doing justice to the matter.
Oh
The
yeah,
thing
please
is,
share.
they were not kids, even though they met when they were quite young. Okay, so every mistake that you can justify Melinda of, you can also justify robots as well. And then as they grow, you can also expect them to, um, take responsibility of their actions. Now, for Melinda, she genuinely loved this guy and not really what the guy was dreaming about. She just loved Robot for who Robot was, even
Mm-hmm.
though she believed in the dream a little. But our concern first and foremost was the guy himself. She loved the guy. On the other hand, Robert did not really love her that much. Robert loved the fact that she was there to support his dream.
Hmm.
So, reciprocating that love she has for him is just a way of loving her back, which was justifiable for both of them. Now, when it got to the point where she took that very silly decision of wanting to kill herself together with Robert and the girl. And I can't remember if the girl in that question was the same Diana,
It's the
right?
same
If
person.
I'm very good. So, because somebody was talking about, it was as if person was saying Diana just came from nowhere when she became the secretary of the company or something. I wanted
No.
to stress the point that she actually knew this same robot long time ago. So my concern is Melinda acted very, very irrational by trying to kill herself together with Robert and Diana because she was cheated on. And
Hmm.
whatever happened to her, I can't fault Robert on that. It was her own decision to do what she did. And then I even commend Robert for not leaving her at that stage. He went ahead and married her, knowing fully well she has lost her womb. Then for someone to say that Robert was jobless, come on, that's an insult to a genius who is studying and making all effort to bring a dream to pass. For 18 good years, he did not let his dream die. It takes a man with a strong passion to do such a thing. If
Hmm.
he had not achieved his dream, that would have been a different ball game. But this is somebody who actually conquered. He was successful in what he was pursuing, meaning all those years were not wasted. So I will give him a pass mark for that. Who I would rather blame is the person who chose to believe in someone, and then along the line, she backed out. And then the annoying part was that even when this guy was begging her to the very end, begging her not to go ahead with divorce, she refused because she was listening to the sisters. I understand that this guy messed up in so many ways that actually could make her, behave very funny and behave mad and all that. But then, for the fact that you have already wasted all of these years, what's the point? Why not just continue to the end? Someone also mentioned the fact that how would they feed? How would they go about this and that? Look, they were just two persons without kids. Even if she was doing just one job, is enough to get them by. And if she's someone that actually believes in the dream, then she should continue sacrificing till the day the dream materializes. That was what she signed up for. There were no kids. Somebody was giving an example with her own family where they had 6 kids. I don't know, I don't want to go too personal, but then I rather thought somebody who kept having kids when things are not financially okay than fought the dream the person was pursuing. And that's one thing we must learn here in Africa. People just give birth without financially being capable of taking care of these kids. So we cannot really relate this person that came online. We cannot relate our story to the story of Robert and Melinda. They didn't need too much to get by. A single job would have, continued helping them out. And for Robert to continue doing what he was doing, it shows a man with a goal, a man with a very strong passion, who did not let his dream die, and that should be commended. And for the fact that he went ahead and did the same thing he actually promised her, that to tell you that this person was in pain. For him, I felt he just wanted to, that dream he has been dreaming about, the ring he wanted to buy for a woman who would, the dream was he was just seeing himself as a man who will be living the life of his dream, giving a particular kind of ring to a woman who will be his partner, buying a particular kind of yacht and all that. That was just a dream. I really don't think maybe he had Melinda as the person who must be there. You understand? He just felt, when I get to this level, this kind of life I want to live. And unfortunately, Melinda took herself out of that picture. It wasn't Robert that took her out of the picture. She took herself out of it. And the next best person who can actually achieve or who can benefit from that is, of course, the same Diana who helped him secure the deal. And not anyone else. And this guy just did what he did because he wanted to make sure that that same dream he was pursuing that made him to lose so many things, lost so many things, lost relationship, he was disrespected and all that. He wanted to see that particular vision come into play. That was why he went ahead and did the same thing. He bought the ring, bought the same yacht and all that. So I don't really blame the guy for all of those things. I feel more blame should go to Melinda. If you choose to believe someone who has such a big dream, then you should understand the sacrifice that must come with it. You must be ready for it. It's not a childish thing. It's not something you just wake up one and then you just fall into it. Someone with that kind of big dream, definitely you know that when that dream actualizes, then you are going to also be in a very big picture. So it's not something that comes by every single day. If it's something that comes by every single day, then it will not be a sacrifice anymore. When people go for big things, they must be ready to sacrifice something huge as well. Else, everybody will be making it and make millions now. If it's that easy, we haven't say 18 years. Those in-laws, the husbands of Melinda's sister, all the 18 years that they were not pursuing the kind of dream that this guy was pursuing, did they make that kind of money? So how can we say Robert was jobless? This guy was working his ass out to make sure that dream comes to pass. How come the other guys who were working in, doing other stuff, how come they did not make that kind of money all through these 18 years? Come on, let's give the guy some credit.
Wow. Thank you so much, James. This is a very, very interesting perspective. And I know that my partner is all here happy right now because at least somebody has spoken his mind. This one is here doing yes, somebody just spoke his mind. You know what, yeah? I didn't expect you to say anything different because most guys that have argued about this movie, this is the perspective that they think from. And I find it very interesting because Arjun, in as much as I agree with some of the things you've said, of course, I'm going to think from a woman's perspective. I'm going to also think about the emotional part of it. What you've explained, you've just spoken like a man on a mission. I'm out to achieve this, and so a lot of sacrifices has to be made, and this is what's going to happen. But can we also look at the fact that these people were actually in a marriage situation, and his drive actually cost him the relationship in the marriage. Emotions were dead. No sentiment attached anymore. These two people, from what we saw, wake up in the morning like strangers. They're not talking to each other, no romance. The house was cold. even from the cinematography, the picture of the movie, you could see how everything was cold. Yeah, I mean, when movies like that is created, where everything is bereft of sentiments, of emotions, you will see how, the picture is grim. Everything is grim. So, what would you say to that, Ajum? Do you think a man that is on a mission like Robert, that is actually chasing his dream consistently, working really hard for over 20 years, do you think it's okay for him to neglect the person that is a sponsor? Because whether we like it or yes, Melinda was a sponsor. She was his provider. She was the one providing the funds for him to be chasing that dream. Do you think it was actually okay for him to neglect her? Because in the movie, she looked drained. She looked dry. She looked dead. She was like a walking corpse in the movie. So do you think it was okay?
Okay, now I'm not really sure because I think I watched this movie like 4 years ago or so. So I'm not really sure. I can't be too certain if there was any scene that talked about the guy actually neglecting her. Okay, because I think the only time the guy cheated on her was before the marriage. After then, the guy
No, we're
became
not talking about the
faithful.
cheating. We're talking about the
Yeah,
neglect.
yeah,
She was
yeah,
the
yeah.
storyteller.
Yes, I get it. But my point is, there was no point where they actually tried to say that the guy actually neglected her. Yes, the guy showed more concern for his project, which of course is expected. What he was pursuing was something bigger than them. Okay, I am saying that when someone goes for something that is bigger than them, they should be ready to pay the sacrifice. And we should also look at it from this point. Yes, the guy might have neglected her emotionally and otherwise, but what about the guy himself? This was also somebody who needed encouragement in what he was doing. How would you feel working on something 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to 18 years and it's not working out? Even you yourself, you'll be drained. You also need emotional support. Do you understand? So on the issue of both of them not having any connection about their marriage and everything, they were just there. The home was dull and everything. You don't blame any of them. It is the result of what happens in every relationship. When things are not working out, except the couples actually are very determined by themselves to make sure the marriage works. It's always like that. Most people will always break up. When marriages fail, it's because of when things are not working. Okay? I've been married for 8 years. I know how my wife feels whenever I'm financially down. But then when things pick up again, I also understand how she feels. So when I'm financially down and then I see her mood changing, I know what to do, okay, to at least help the situation at that point. Okay, but then it is not solely on me. It's also on our own part to understand that when things are going bad with my business or something, I also expect her to show me some kind of emotional support because she's my number one fan as a wife. And that was also what I expected from Melinda. If your man is trying to work on a project for 18 good years, you shouldn't be thinking about yourself alone and thinking it's not showing you emotional support. You should also understand that he also might have been drained emotionally. The guy was lost. And that was why I keep commending him for him to hold on for that number of years and then finally succeeded. It is not a small thing. It's not something that we can just write up and say for 18 years you neglected your woman. No, it doesn't work that way. This guy worked for 18 years. I cannot say that guy was jobless. He worked for 18 years and he made far much more than the other in-laws will even make in their entire lifetime. So
Okay.
you can't.
Yeah, please finish your statement, please.
So you can't really compare them. You can't compare Robert and then the other guys who were doing a dispatch work or something, who are trying to make ends meet and they think they are the best guys and all that. No, it's not. The thing is,
I actually agree with
people with
you.
big
I actually
dreams.
agree with you on the emotional support part. Yes, I mean, it was very obvious on the movie that Melinda sucked at offering emotional support, but she was very good at offering financial support. That one I saw. She really sucked at it. And I don't know if it came from a place of naivety, of not just knowing what to do, right? I just feel like most of the time in the movie, during her young years, I felt like she just didn't know what to do. Right. She doesn't know when to give that emotional support and when not to. Yes. But this is a message to Tyler Perry. Because we just raised a very important point now. It also made me realize that, okay, we watched the movie from Belinda's perspective, right? And we would really love for Talapari to create a part two where we would watch the movie from Robert's perspective. It's possible for this to happen. If you've seen the movie 50 Shades of Grey, it was actually a trilogy written by E.L. James. That's novel. The novels were written from Anna's perspective. Now, after the whole trilogy, a sequel was released. This time around, it was actually titled From Christian Grey's Perspective. So the guy was telling the story from his own perspective, how he viewed Anna, the girl he ended up marrying. Yeah, if you don't know the story, guys, please go ahead and Google it. A very interesting story. So I believe that Perry can actually create Acrimony Part 2, this time around from Robert's perspective. Although I doubt if Perry would even want to bother because most of his movies always get towards the female. But I would really hope that he recreates a part 2 of this movie so that we can actually hear from the guy's perspective. Because the truth is, if you think about it, right? Most women that would watch this movie, because Melinda told it from a very, very emotional point of view, people would easily lean into Melinda's pain from the movie. Robert was a bad communicator on the movie. He was a bad communicator. He was very, very terrible at expressing himself. The only time I really, really saw this guy really express himself in the movie was when she wanted to divorce him. And then I think was it during the hearing of the divorce case? Yes, the guy was
Yeah.
really, really, yeah. But most of the time during the movie, when you were hearing really talk, it was all about begging and demanding and cajoling for her to support his dreams. Yes. So I kind of agree with you. You know, she was actually bereft of, that sense to offer emotional support. But I don't think Robert is actually completely innocent. That guy was very, very insensitive a lot of times.
See, Glory, are you still there?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
okay, now I also want to stress this point. I think one lesson most people should actually learn from this movie is, making choice of partners. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's also one big lesson the single people here can actually learn. When you're making
Yeah.
your choice of partner, you should consider the kind of dreams they have. Some dreams are very long term. Some dreams are immediate. Okay, and you
Hmm.
should ask yourself if you have what it takes, to go through with that dream for your partner or whatever. So it's not. I really feel like maybe um, Melinda, okay, initially she understood what the guy was all about, but at some point she just lost it because she just couldn't wait anymore. I have no doubt that if she had waited to the end, I don't believe the guy would have gone up to a different lady, even the Diana that helped him secure the deal. Maybe she would have been the one to receive the 10 million, okay, and then Melinda will go ahead and get all the promise she was promised. So
Hmm.
I really encourage people and advise them when you meet someone, you should definitely consider all these things. When people speak of
Absolutely.
some kind of dreams that sounds very long term, you should ask yourself if this person is doing this, that means he may not have too much to help us go by. So am I in a position where I can stand in for this period of time? Okay. And then if it's something that
Hmm.
you cannot do, it's better you just back out. And then not start something and then you are trying to change his dream for him. You're telling him, I don't know who gave the example of where they said somebody wanted to trying to force someone to go and become a cab guy. Yeah, you don't limit a man's potential by trying to suggest something below what he thinks about himself. If he feels he wants to achieve something great and is working towards that, the best you can do for him is to support him. If you cannot support him, leave him alone. Let someone else who can support him come into his life. Don't
Hmm.
try to bend his dream. You are not his creator. You did not help him, package that dream into what it is before you came into his life. Don't help him try to navigate it somewhere else. If you know you're not
Hmm.
just fit to be that support, a wife is supposed to be a support to a man. Okay, If you know you're not
Mm.
fit for that role, then you just go ahead and meet someone else. Don't try to create a different role for a man. You are there to go and support whatever he wants to be.
Wow. This is this is some really deep point you're actually sharing right now, and it's making me think about the bigger picture of marriage, because when you hear that people are married, most of the time, as the outsider, you don't really think about these things. What you're saying, I mean, it's rightly coming from you as one who has been married for 8 years, and that's really deep, and what you're saying makes a lot of sense. People really really need to have these conversations with themselves and with the person they will potentially want to settle down with, because what you're saying is actually true. People have big dreams, and big dreams, it's not like, nah, it's not peanuts. Big dreams are big dreams. How long can you wait? I really wish that Tyler Perry really delved more into probably various conversations that these two people, Melinda and Robert, would have had in the movie. But sadly, we just have to analyze the movie based on what we saw. Anyways, thank you so much, James. Your perspective is very, very interesting. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you very much,
Yeah,
Clary. Yeah, bye.
thank you. So yeah, we have Jasmine here. I don't know if Jasmine is male or female, but Jasmine, if you can quickly share your perspective briefly so that we can round up.
How are
You
you?
just muted. Yeah, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
I'm all right. I'm all right, thanks. It's actually a male with her partner's with his partner's phone.
Nice. I like that.
You know, yeah,
Okay.
I actually found the this live stream in the middle. But from what I
Oh,
could, what I heard, what I got there and there, you are talking about a movie we've watched
Acrimony.
together as partners. And
Oh,
truth be told,
nice.
you are not lying when you say it's a movie where you can easily take sides. But the side
Mm,
you take is always going to lead you back to the beginning again.
true.
So what I can take from the movie, what I've seen from the movie, perseverance is very key in that movie.
Mm,
Cause from what I saw Melinda do from the beginning, how she was in the beginning, yes, she was there financially, but with the influence and emotionally, but with the influence she got from her sisters, that's where she started pulling back. She loved the guy emotionally and she was helping him financially, but the influence, the third party in the relationship is a huge problem, because you
yeah,
start doubting, you start seeing the mistakes that they are showing you, you start believing whatever they are telling you. She believed in the dream, she worked for the dream, and she lived for the dream. But the minute the third person came and showed the other mirror, that's when she started falling back and back and back. No matter how hard, what's this guy's name? No matter
Robert.
how hard this guy, no matter how hard Robert tried to remind her, tried to push her, tried to bring her back into the game, but she was just pulling back. She couldn't understand. She didn't want to listen. She didn't want to be part of it anymore. So, in life as a whole, not from the movie, watching it, I've also seen things like that happen, like in real life, where a person is there for you, but they're only there with not their 100, but with maybe 50% of them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Like my dear says.
Hmm. Yeah.
Wena o etsang? Ntse le on.
Please carry
Hello?
on. Carry on. Yes,
Yes,
carry
yes,
on.
yes. No, I was having problems with my signal right here. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
So what I was saying was, from a life's point of view, what Robert did, and like, insulting.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I can't.
Yeah, we can
We're
still
not for
hear
someone.
you. We can still hear you.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. She's showing me flames where I am here. Sorry.
Okay,
So
please carry
what
on.
I was saying was, hello.
Yes, carry on.
Okay, can I please reconnect again because I'm not seeing anything.
No, we can actually hear you clearly. You continue.
Yeah,
Continue.
Okay. Unso kena ka mo hare. Hello.
We can hear you. We can hear you. Continue. Oh wow. Oh wow. Jasmine, are you there? Whoa. Um, oh my God. Okay. Okay. Whoa. I don't know what's going on. Jasmine, I don't know what's happening. Hello. Okay. Well, let me just give special thanks to every single one of you that has contributed to today's conversation. It's really sad that Jasmine lost his connection. But I just love the mix of people sharing their perspective about this movie, Acrimony. I'm happy with the fact that us single people, we are sharing our opinion, and then the married people are also sharing their opinion. Indeed, it is a movie that everybody should watch. Yes, you're married, you're single, you should definitely watch it. There's a truckload of life lessons to learn. And I feel like watching this movie over and over again, it's kind of partially equipped me, to be in a relationship. And if I do consider to get married in the future, then I think I've actually learned a whole lot to equip myself, to make the right decision. The movie is deep, very deep, yes. And I'm really hoping that Tyler Perry gets to do a sequel to this movie. It would be really interesting to hear Robert's perspective. Yes, I'm really hoping that Tyler Perry considers, giving us a part two of this movie. Just as we watched Why Did I Get Married and Why Did I Get Married 2, would be nice to get a part two to Acrimony. It would be a blockbuster. Yes. So really, I want to appreciate every single one of you that turned up for today's conversation. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm really grateful, the more grateful to all of you that has contributed to this conversation via the comment section, as a silent viewer and as a contributor that has spoken. Yes, because years back when the movie was first released, I could only analyze the movie via my blog post. Yes. If you are interested in reading that blog post, check frankly speaking with glory.com. That's my blog, that's my website. So I did an analysis of it. I can't even really remember what I shared. I'll probably have to go and read it back again. Okay. Yeah, but now having this conversation with you amazing people, it was just quite enlightening for me. I have actually learned a lot. And special thanks to Fortune for holding it down. Yes, for over an hour, we were talking and talking and talking before other people joined us. Thank you so much, Fortune. Thank you so much for making our time to go watch the movie after I announced that we're going to be having this conversation. Thanks, even though you've watched it before, you went to watch it again before, because of this conversation. Thank you so much, Fortune. And Nini, thank you so much for sharing. I especially, learned like it's there, but it wasn't really glaring. So you actually opened my eyes to appreciating Robert's persistence, towards working hard for his dreams and staying committed and consistent to his dreams, to achieving his dreams. That's actually something that I think my emotions kind of blinded me, from seeing. That is actually a big message from the movie. Staying passionate, staying consistent to achieving your dreams. That's actually huge. So thank you so much, Nini. And then Chigozie Destiny, thank you so much for sharing your life experiences with us. And also speaking from a man's perspective, Ajums International, thank you so much. Sharing so many powerful messages in the comment section and also joining here and, kind of shocking me with your interesting perspective. I actually learned a lot from your perspective as well. Thank you so much, Catherine. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing your powerful messages from your own life's experiences and your upbringing as well. Thank you so much. And for everybody that would have loved to speak and you did not speak, I still appreciate you all for joining the conversation. This is where we're going to end this conversation, okay? Once again, thank you all so much. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing evening. Bye.